Call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME. 12011 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney advertising.
KMJ.
This is the Valley's election headquarters. News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
Sunny and 62 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. Former President Donald Trump expected to launch a 2024 White House run with a proclamation from Florida tomorrow. We get the details from ABC's Jonathan Carl.
Trump is intending to announce he's running for president tomorrow. We'll believe it when we actually see him say it, but a third run for president, and his people say all systems go that he will do it tomorrow night.
As heard on KMJ today, ahead of that expected announcement, Valley Congressman Tom McClintock endorses Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for president over Trump. Take a listen.
I love Donald Trump, and I will support him if he receives the nomination. You know, as I said when he got the nomination in 2016, wasn't my first choice. That was Scott Walker. Wasn't my second choice. That was Ted Cruz. But I can sure as hell tell the difference between a fire and a fireman. And if a fireman is trying to save my house from burning down, I really don't care if from time to time he behaves like a bit of a jerk. But in a political environment, I would prefer that he not from time to time behave like a bit of a jerk, that he focus on philosophies and the policies that produced his successes. And again, I think that Ron DeSantis is in a better position to do that. So he's my first choice for president in 2024.
6 deaths are now confirmed in the air show tragedy, including a man with ties to the Central Valley in Texas after 2 planes collide mid-air in Dallas.
2 historic military planes collided and crashed to the ground Saturday, sending plumes of black smoke into the sky over Dallas's executive airport.
This is a World War II flight demonstration type air show where we highlight the aircraft and their capabilities.
According to the FAA, a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress and a Bell P-63 King Cobra collided during the commemorative Air Force wings over Dallas's air show. Christine Sloan, ABC News.
KMJ has learned that pilot Kevin Michaels has ties to the valley with family farming in Madera. The largest strike in the U.S. since 2019, 48,000 University of California academic workers walked off their jobs today.
From researchers to teaching assistants, a strike at UC's 10 campuses after contract talks failed to reach an agreement over the past year. Union members represented by the United Auto Workers say wages are a key part of the dispute. Some university employees make less than $24,000 a year. On its website, university officials say UC continues to negotiate in good faith with the union, committed to finding solutions to outstanding issues.
KGO reporter Cornell Barnard, a California college student among those getting help from the beef industry to pursue an ag career. We get details from KMJ's ag director, Don York.
Certified Beef Angus is awarding a record $70,000 in scholarships to 20 students across the country. Those students are pursuing careers at the ranch, in meat science, in a research lab, or supporting agricultural business and marketing efforts. Among the recipients, Claire Stevenson at Cal Poly. This scholarship fund recognizes students for the commitment and energy they bring to agriculture, their education, and their community involvement. The fund has supported a total of 121 recipients through $418,000 in scholarships over the past few years. John York, KMJ News.
The Dow losing 211 points today. Now here's Fox 26's Jim De La Vega with our Monday forecast.
Sunny today with a high in the low 60s. Mostly clear for tonight, dropping down to 38 degrees. Patchy fog returning overnight and into Tuesday morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim De La Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. On the roadways in Fresno on North Brawley at westbound 180, got a hazard involving an animal. And then on East Lincoln at South Elm, look for defective traffic signals, making that a four-way stop. And in Madera on Avenue 21 at Road 27, looks like we got a car fire going on there, so look for emergency personnel heading to that location. Our next update is at 2:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Are you in need of earthwork, site prep, or mass grading and paving? Contact Foyata Land Leveling to get your job done. Dial 209-454-5700. Proud affiliate of the Ag Center.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
At News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to your afternoon drive. My name is Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride. Phone numbers here are 490-5858 until free. 800-776-5858. Follow the show on social media at Drive KMJ or watch it live on YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook Live. Also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon, and we have got a lot coming up today. We'll start with the buzz question at KMJNow.com. It's brought to you by the Buzz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. We're asking, there's a growing movement in the state to ban rodeos. Should California ban rodeo? Again, that's the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Buzz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. And my knee-jerk reaction is to laugh out loud at the idea. It's a part of our shared cultural heritage. Are there things in rodeo that might be done differently? Are there things in rodeo that can be improved upon because we understand livestock management and things like that a bit? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Is the elimination of rodeo to the benefit of anybody? Nope. Raises a lot of money for education, raises a lot of money for folks who work in agriculture, brings a lot of attention to small communities. I don't see the banning of rodeo being a net positive. And I know there's the PETA folks out there who are going to say it's cruel, it's inhumane, it's all of those things, to which I would say almost none of those animals that you see at the rodeo exist without the rodeo. And again, I go back to there's definitely things that we can do to improve those animals' standard of living. But on the whole, do I think that banning rodeo improves anything? I do not. And so my answer would be no, but I'd like to hear from you guys at KMJNow.com. Go hit the buzz question and let us know if you think the state of California should get rid of something that's been a part of the state of California longer than it's been a state. Coming up, we've got a handful of guests for you guys. Andy Field from ABC News is back. We're going to talk about what looks like Democrats securing the Senate while the House is still up for grabs. The Fresno County Elections Chief, James Coos, will be here. We're going to talk about how Fresno did in the midterms, what is left to be accomplished. The certification is still a month out. So there's a little bit of room to breathe, but I also want to get his opinion as somebody who is responsible for the administration of elections about what might be done to make this more efficient and to make results more timely. And Clovis Unified School District trustee-elect Clint Olivier will be here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about his vision for Clovis Unified School District in 2023, the gentle art of not rocking a boat that is well underway. And we'll also get his commentary on the midterms that has now turned into a week-long process for most of the country. We'll start with UVA here and the latest on this once again, sickening spectacle. The shooter was taken into custody today after fatally shooting 3 people and wounding 2 others at the Charlottesville campus. UVA President Jim Ryan said shots were fired in the Culbreth garage on Sunday at about 10:30 p.m. Authorities shortly thereafter issued a shelter in place for the school community while they did a full search of the campus. The suspect is still a student at the university. He was listed as a member of the football team in 2018. The phrasing of that causes me to think that he is no longer a member of the football team, which I could only speculate speaks to a possible motive here. The three students killed in this shooting on Sunday night were named Devin Chandler, Deshaun Perry, and Lavelle Davis Jr. Two other students wounded, one in critical condition, the other in good condition. Thank God for that. And the arrest, apparently Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. had already been on authorities' radar. The Office of Student Affairs had received a report that he had gone out and purchased a gun at some time in the recent past. The school canceled classes today, and the president of the university said that he is holding the victims, their families, and all members of the University of Virginia community in his heart, and plans are being made to come together as a community to grieve as soon as possible. This does not fit the stereotypical demographics. It doesn't fit the usual pattern for a mass shooting. And like I said, I don't know that there is a concrete path from formerly having been a member of the football team to the attack on the football team returning on a charter bus. It seems like a hell of a coincidence. I do not know, and this is the bane of the developing story. I don't know if this guy was living on campus, and that's why his purchase of a handgun got brought to the attention of the Office of Student Affairs, or if this was simply something brought to the school's attention because of an abundance of concern. I'm also interested to learn if this was an individual for whom a red flag law warning might have been an effective mechanism to have prevented this. But like any of these incidents, the conversation is going to be what it's going to be. The opportunists on the left are going to make a passionate case that, of course, all guns are bad and we shouldn't have them and it's time to lock everything down. Folks on the right are going to insist that nothing should change, nothing should be done. The Second Amendment's absolute and inviolable. And I know that the answer is it's somewhere in the middle and it's closer to the right, but it makes me think that it is time to re-examine red flag laws, because law-abiding people, sane, sober, stable people who are operating within the law, within their rights, should not be infringed. Somebody who is creating enough concern that the simple fact of their ownership of a firearm gets brought to the attention of the school, it seems significant. And again, I can only speculate. We have a tremendous amount of information yet to learn about what happened. We know now simply that this person's in custody and that they are formerly of the football team. And I have no earthly clue what the University of Virginia policies are about firearms on campus. It seems like an obvious thing to somebody living and having been raised in California that it just wouldn't be allowed, that if you were living on campus or while you were attending classes on campus, that having a gun would not be permitted, because the schools in California are not having that. But if there was nothing lawfully problematic, why did it come up? And why wasn't more said? Why weren't there more questions asked? We will learn as time goes on. Now, one of the things that I want to ask Clint Olivier about when he gets in here in about 15 minutes, you've probably heard a lot about this parents' rights movement and this idea that the next front in the culture wars is going to be in school board elections. And there is a group that is historically been successful in getting folks elected, specifically with an eye towards serving a conservative social agenda, and that's this 1776 Project PAC. Up until the midterms, they'd been pretty successful. They'd had a pretty good run. In the midterms, only a third of their candidates, because they had 50 folks on ballots all over the country, only a third of their candidates picked this up. And I'm curious to hear your opinion and Clint's. The motivation behind a lot of this, at least the public vocalized rationale, has to do with social issues. And of course, social issues have to be a consideration in how you administer a school and in how you direct teachers and what policies and guide rails you put into place. When I look at our own problem district here at home, the Fresno Unified School District, the first thing that goes through my mind is not that we have a wildly out of control staff that's running around encouraging immoral, unethical, blasphemous behavior. It's that we're graduating a bunch of kids who can't read or do math. And I think that might be part of why 2/3 of the 1776 Project candidates didn't move forward. We'll talk more about this in a minute. It's the Afternoon Drive, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you here. Phones are open on KMJ.
Thank you, Philip. Got an injury accident on McKinley just west of Lead. It just occurred, and so I don't have a lot of details. Got a car fire in Madera. Details at Avenue 21 and Road 27. A lot of emergency personnel are on the scene there right now. Next update is at 2:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 breakfast deal. Right now at Wendy's, enjoy the $3 breakfast deal. Choose between the bacon or sausage, egg and Swiss croissant, and get a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Because behind every great Wendy's deal is an even greater breakfast. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Glow with the flow at Le Peau Spa, delivering the true meaning of a luxury med spa from Santa Monica and Beverly Hills to Fresno, with exciting updates from a new location to becoming Le Peau Spa and Laser. While still offering 2022 Best of Central Valley award-winning aesthetic treatments, facials, and massages, Le Peau Spa and Laser is providing the newest technology in microneedling, painless laser hair removal, skin resurfacing, IPL, and body contouring. Enjoy your favorite medical spa services in Fresno's most beautiful luxury spa. Visit LePeauSpaFresno.com and follow them on Instagram for more.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Okay, I'll count down, and then you jump.
Got it.
Let me just grab your parachute.
Some accidents are your fault. For injuries that are not, contact the award-winning personal injury attorneys at Injured.com. Their tailored approach will find the best strategy for your case and situation. They will build a powerhouse legal team around your case that will relentlessly pursue justice and maximum financial compensation for you.
Gotcha. Thanks.
You'll always land safely with the experienced attorneys at Injured.com.
You can't always invite everyone to your holiday table, but you can give the perfect gift. And for some, the perfect gift is a meal on the table. By donating just $1, Central California Food Bank can provide up to 4 meals for those experiencing hunger in Central California. Donate now at ccfoodbank.org.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Here's one of those little-known facts that can change your life. Ready? You don't have to be outdoorsy to wear North Face jackets, although that's not a bad idea. Being outdoorsy, that is. Think of all the benefits. Fresh air, exercise, outdoorsy aromas and smells, the wind in your face, the bugs in your hair, wild animals here and there, always underfoot. Orbital satellites watching your every move, but what do you care? You're looking good in North Face, available at California Embroidery. Stride through the great outdoors of the urban sprawl in North Face jackets and hoodies with everything you need in a North Face bag or backpack. Top it off with North Face caps and beanies, all decorated free with your purchase, because that's what California Embroidery does. That's why they're the Valley's #1 go-to embroidery shop at the southwest corner of Herndon and Blackstone. Did we mention unbelievably quick turnaround time? Use your favorite device to get your North Face on at www.californiaembroidery.net or call California Embroidery at 559-447-5304.
.222 on a Monday afternoon. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Philip Teresi hanging out with you on your afternoon drive, and the phones are open for your calls at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Clint Olivier will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be talking about his election to the Clovis Unified School District Area 1 seat. 2 seats open on the Clovis Unified School Board, a body that in this region may be second only to the Clovis City Council in terms of longevity. And the Area 6 trustee, Betsy Sandoval, for instance, retiring after it's either 34 or 36 years of service to the school board, and at least that much time working with and for and through schools all over the state of California, much to the betterment of our students. But right now we're continuing with this 1776 project. And it was an interesting observation that was made by the head of the 1776 project, that it was possible that some of the arguments being made by candidates that they had supported were simply too hyperbolic for people who are looking at school boards, looking at student performance, and are concerned about academics. And that's the piece that I would absolutely love to pick your brains on. And again, I've got to kind of turn my gaze back to Fresno Unified for a minute here. It has been a mostly liberal board for the better part of the past decade. And you've got way out at the left end of the spectrum, I think Viva Islas would acknowledge she is the most progressive left of everybody on that board. And until this past election, you really had a solitary, serious conservative in Terry Sladek. Now, Susan Wittrup has folks from both sides of the aisle who endorsed her, but it's supposed to be a nonpartisan office. And it's one thing to watch the fun and games of the commentariat, the 24-hour infotainment so-called news networks, as they jump up and down and freak out about the two sides of that massive cultural divide in our country. But when I talk to my kid, and I've got a kid who's a sophomore in high school now, I've got another one who's working his way through college down south, but went to Clovis and Central Unified Schools. There's a little bit of conversation about what adults consider to be significant social issues. And goodness knows in Fresno Unified, there's been a couple of standout moments. The destruction of that mural at McLean, for one. But also Bullard has had a recurring problem with students on social media saying and doing pretty dumb stuff. But in terms of what I hear back from my kid, I don't hear a tremendous concern that as a Caucasian that they're being forced out of any opportunities. I don't hear any conversation about religious ideology. And my kid, being a kid, is very much pro-LGBT rights, and yet it's not coming from school. And amongst their friends, there's a little bit of conversation, but broadly speaking, school. And math homework's math homework. And trying to learn to conjugate verbs in Spanish class is still somehow something that neither I nor my child do well. And when I look at Fresno Unified, I'm not worried that they're teaching our kids some kind of crazy left-wing socialist dogma. I'm worried that there's kids in my child's class who are not academically capable of functioning at the grade level to which they have been promoted. And I am concerned that my child's diploma is going to be worth less than the paper that it has been written on by the time that they graduate, because nobody in the class is keeping up. So when I'm looking at the election, when I'm looking at the trustees, when I'm looking at the potential candidates to go into that school board, yeah, I tend to lean against people who make it overly about social issues, but I am not thinking of that first. I'm thinking about reading and writing and math skills and a basic understanding of science and a basic understanding of American and world history. And if anything, that's been part of my relief in seeing the most left-leaning member of the school board in such a tight race. And honestly, at this point, I think that if Viva Islas had faced a single competitor, and I think either of the folks that are still currently in the fight would have been, okay, it might have been a little bit of a relief. It might have given some cover for the rest of the school board to just chill out and get back to, again, academics and classroom safety. And I'm not entirely certain if the 1776 group hasn't figured it out already. Like I said, the leader of the group flat out said that the messaging needs to be more positive. Ryan Gerdusky's his name. He says sometimes you lose moderate voters because you're too hyperbolic and you're not speaking truth to something that's very local to them. So we're going to get Clovis Unified Trustee-elect Clint Olivier in here. We're going to talk about whether those social issues are getting any play at Clovis Unified School Board meetings, because, again, they've got a very different experience. They have set a very different bar than what Fresno or even Central Unified has done. And that's got to be a good feeling to walk into a situation where the status quo is success. It is educational attainment. It is a focus on the needs and the best interests of the students. And it's not just another opportunity to score points in some kind of social warfare. Clint Olivier joins us after an update of headlines. We'll do that with Liz Kern right now in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
California's Department of Public Health reporting the first death in a child under 5 due to the flu and respiratory virus known as RSV. Health Director Dr. Tomas Aragon is urging parents and guardians to vaccinate their children as soon as possible against the flu and COVID-19. According to the CDC, this season across the U.S., there's been an estimated 2.8 million flu cases, 23,000 hospitalizations, and 1,300 deaths. 3 of those have been children. Federal prosecutors in New York will not file foreign lobbying charges against Rudy Giuliani, former President Trump's one-time personal attorney. Here's ABC's Aaron Katersky with more.
In a letter to the court, federal prosecutors said the grand jury investigation into Rudy Giuliani's lobbying activities in Ukraine has concluded, and based on information currently available to the government, criminal charges are not forthcoming. The letter came more than a year after the FBI searched Giuliani's home and office, seizing more than a dozen devices as part of an investigation into Giuliani's campaign for the ouster of then U.S. Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch from Ukraine. Giuliani is still facing the possibility of criminal charges in Georgia over his attempts to overturn the results of the last presidential election. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Elton John interviewed Joni Mitchell for his Apple Music One show on Saturday.
I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take.
The folk legend opened up about her legacy, performing at the Newport Folk Festival and more. After telling Sir Elton she's in the process of trying to release a live recording of her surprise performance at the festival this summer, Mitchell also revealed she didn't have any rehearsal for what ended up being her first concert in 2 decades. On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 211 points, closing at 33,536. The S&P 500 lost 35 points. NASDAQ dropped 127. 2:32 right now at KMJ. Valley weather, it's sunny, 62 at Radio City. Fox 26's Jim De La Vega has more of our Monday forecast.
Today's high will be 61 degrees. Sunny, a little bit of a southwest wind at 5 miles per hour, but that's going to be calming down into the evening hours. Tonight's low will be just 38 degrees. Fog is in the forecast for late night and early morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim De La Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Well, it looks like we got some lawn chairs in the middle of the road. Not a good place for the chairs or anybody to use them. Westbound 168 at Herndon, right there at the off-ramp. Heads up there, also in Fresno, McKinley, west of Lead. They're dealing with an injury accident. Got another injury accident in Tulare on Road 68 at Avenue 232. Our next update, 247. I'm Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Dell Technologies Black Friday event starts now with up to 50% off select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus savings on accessories and free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
Get Allbritton's complete furnace revitalization. Oh, man, this is tough.
Not bad. Maybe a little more on the zation.
Online at allbritain.com.
Hello, this is Guy Adams from the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch, letting you know that we're having our first fundraiser since 2019. We'd love for you to join us November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building, and we're going to feature Sonny Coelho and his amazing band. It's going to be a great night of dancing. Tickets are $50 per, $400 for a table. Doors open at 5:30. Let me tell you what we are. We are a ranch that works with medically fragile children here in the Central Valley. We've seen shooting victims get out of their wheelchairs, first words, first steps. We're blessed to see some amazing things, and with the help of the Central Valley, we're always blessed to be able to do this. Tickets can be bought at heartofthehorse.org. Heartofthehorse.org is where you can get your tickets. Once again, it's Friday, November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building. We're going to have some amazing silent auction items. If you'd like to donate a silent auction item, just go to heartofthehorse.org, or if you'd like to be a sponsor or make a donation, once again, heartofthehorse.org.
This report is sponsored by calhope.org.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Join Hala Taha for actionable advice from the brightest minds in the world on the Young and Profiting Podcast. Author and academic Arthur Brooks on what success isn't.
The husband was confessing to his wife that he might as well be dead. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's wrong with this guy? I turn around to get a look, and it turns out to be one of the most famous men in the world. The world tells you that if you are profiting, money, power, pleasure, fame, you're going to be happy. And that's a bogus formula.
The Young and Profiting Podcast, wherever you listen.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day.
Philip Teresi
on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
2:36 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Joining me in the studio now, he's been a United States Marine. He's an author. He was a member of the Fresno City Council for many years. One-time candidate for Assembly, and
No, we don't.
I don't talk about that one?
No, I don't like to talk about that.
My apologies. Now, Clovis Unified School District Area 1 trustee-elect.
It's a long title. I like it. You know that when you get elected to the Clovis School Board, your title is, it's His or Her Excellency. So now you guys can start calling me Your Excellency around here, and I can finally have the respect I deserve when I come to KMJ.
I'm gonna see if I can find a coffee mug with His Excellency printed on it for you. First of all, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
This is a cool thing to have managed. It's not like Clovis Unified has given up a lot of openings on the board of trustees.
No, they haven't. In fact, I spoke with someone who said they don't do a lot of onboarding. I'm curious to know, do I go and watch the HR videos? Do I? They didn't do it. It's funny because when I got on city council, they tell you, okay, show up on this such and such a date, and you show up and you take the oath and you go sit down, and then, okay, here you go. Here's your office. Here's your, you know what I mean? And that's it. I mean, and I'm guessing it's that way with all electeds. There's no, HR videos you have to watch and move the mouse. And is this appropriate? Click yes or no. There's nothing like that. They throw you into it.
Well, okay. So this is just a completely ignorant question.
No,
it is, because I just have no earthly clue. As a member of the Board of Trustees, are you an employee of the district, or do you exist in some other categorization?
I think, no, I don't know the answer to that for sure.
Okay.
But I can tell you that the board members are in an elected governing board elected by the people.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole thing with Sladek. Like, they couldn't remove him. They couldn't get him out. They censured him 100 times, but he was an elected, the people sent him there. The people have to remove him or you or me or anybody.
Well, I know that on the Fresno City Council, at some point you had to write down your Social Security number because you were drawing a paycheck.
Yeah.
Clovis Unified, I know they're paying some kind of stipend for the folks.
Yeah, they
who are
do.
on the
I
board.
think it's like $500 or something.
Yeah. Well, no, you didn't get it.
A day. No, just kidding. No, it's a month.
You're going to go into a situation where you've got some long institutional memory, and at the same time, Betsy Sandoval,
right,
38 years of service over
Right.
2 separate spans. She's been working with the school board since 1981.
Wow. And she's gone now. She left.
Because she was Area 6.
Right.
So the other newbie on the Clovis Unified School Board is going to be dropping into her chair.
Yes.
Clovis Unified, and full disclosure, I'm a Clovis Unified student. I went to Clovis High and Gateway. Clovis Unified is this incredibly steady organization. I mean, they have their little kerfuffles, and about every 2 years, somebody sues them over dress code and that nonsense.
Sure.
But in terms of showing up to school, being in dress code, attending class, and being prepared to participate, like the experience for the students is rock steady.
Yeah.
And for the most part, for the parents, it's rocks. If you simply follow the dance card, everything's going to go great. Is that reassuring going in as a new guy that even if it takes you a month to get your feet underneath you, you're going to get that because you're going into an organization that knows what it's doing, that all of the actors underneath the trustee have the well-established roles?
To what you just said, yes. The answer is yes. I think you described rock steady or rock solid organization. Absolutely. And so I've had kids in Fresno Unified, I've had kid in Fresno Unified, and now kid in Clovis. It's a different experience. We'll just put it that way. But what's interesting, that we did not a debate, we did like a Zoom forum for the GV Wire.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was, are you encountering any anti-Fresno sentiment, and are people prejudiced against Fresno because you're from it's a valid question. I see you nodding your head, you're from Fresno Unified, City of Fresno. Is there any, and the answer is no, because, and this may be eye-opening for you and also for you out there, is that 48% of the district covers Clovis, 44% of the district covers Fresno.
So the city, yeah.
Yeah, so 44%, it's almost, and then the rest is outlying areas. So it's half and half. It's not it's Clovis-centric, but it's almost equally Fresno-Clovis. And so the answer to that question was no. And so I'm the farthest west of all the trustees. So there are 7 of them on there, and I'm the farthest west. I'm at Fruit and Herndon is where I live.
Oh yeah,
it's in Nelson Elementary where my son goes. That's the furthest west school site of the entire district. So I'm the Westerner, the Wild West. I'm the Fresno guy. But here's what's interesting. The socioeconomic background of the students in Fresno Unified, we hear it over and over and over. The Fresno, we're wringing our hands here, I'm going to gnash my teeth because we've got this socioeconomic problem. There are people with challenges here. That's all true. But for the most part, Clovis schools are dealing with the same issues, dealing with educating kids from challenged socioeconomic backgrounds. They've got Pinedale, and they've got Tarpey, and they've got these areas of town where the city, where Fresno Unified has, with similar demographics, has struggled to educate kids. Whereas across the street, whether it's in Fresno or the Brown street signs, remember, you see Brown, you better turn around.
Oh yeah,
that's the old saying. No, but they're doing it right. They're doing something right.
Absolutely.
And so I think I'm intellectually curious. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm not an educator. I'm a concerned parent. And I didn't run for the seat. Oh, look at me, great politician, failed assembly candidate, looking to get back in the mix. No, it's as sincere can be. I'm a concerned parent. I want to be part of my kid's education. The seat was open. Giddy up.
So you're in, and you're as a parent, you've already got a pretty good view of what's going on, because I know you, and I know that you are paying attention to the experience for your kid, and you're paying attention to the experience for yourself and your other half. And it's Clovis Unified. It's not like there's this force field that's kept those of us in Fresno from having any idea what the experience is like. If I was shooting from the hip, I would say somewhere between 85 and 90% of what Clovis Unified does is awesome. It's really well done. It's really thoughtfully managed. And then, like any organization, there's a small slice that needs to be improved. Do you have any area that you want to start because I know that I know Clovis Unified, and I know that it's not just going to be the new guy came in with a bright idea, let's change everything.
Right.
But is there an area that you're looking at that you think you can help steer them towards a better product for families?
Sure. I like the idea of more life skills education. How to fill out, what is a my God, I almost said TRW. What is a credit report? Those kinds of life skills, there's a debate among folks, why is the education system geared toward making everybody go to college when, what's the percentage of kids who go to college? I mean, Clovis Unified sends a lot of people to college.
Sure.
And rightly so, and they're proud of that. But, there are kids who would make a better career coming out of a trade school, would make a better career. And I know that those things are being addressed at the highest levels, not just in Clovis, but in Sacramento. But a lot of the curriculum is set. A lot of the stuff is done by people smarter than us in Sacramento, right? And then there are also people in the right place at the right time who are smarter than me in Clovis that work on the curriculum. But I will be an advocate for more life skills type of education, and how to balance a bank account, and how to sit in the box when you're applying for an auto loan, and what is interest, and those kinds of things that there's not a lot of classroom time for that kind of stuff. But I'll be an advocate for that, and all kinds of other stuff too. How much time you got?
Oh, we got a while.
Yeah.
That is Clovis Unified School District Area 1 Trustee-elect Clint Olivier. I'm Philip Teresi. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Thanks for hanging out.
In Fresno, North Academy at Ashland, we got, believe it or not, goats in the road. In Madera, Avenue 17 at Crystal, there is a report of a fire there. And in Visalia, eastbound 198, just west of Central, non-injury accident being reported there. Next update happens at 3:03. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 breakfast deal. Right now at Wendy's, enjoy the $3 breakfast deal. Choose between the bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, and get a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Because behind every great Wendy's deal is an even greater breakfast. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Fall is the perfect season to cozy up in your new dream home. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and we have a few move-in ready homes waiting for you and your family in some of our most popular neighborhoods. Enjoy the highest quality craftsmanship and luxury amenities that have come to define a Gary McDonald home without the wait.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License Number 847905.
Throughout your journey, you have taken care of yourself and don't expect to stop now. Stay on top of your healthcare needs and let Sante Physicians be your guide. If you are eligible, open enrollment is now available and only takes a few moments to sign up. Sante Physicians is here for your Medicare needs with more resources and locations than any other network in the Valley. Your doctor is here to provide you with the highest quality care, and you can act now by calling 559-234-1393. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Lou Rodman has a brand new name, a brand new location that will knock your socks off. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Let me tell you, his customer base, have really embraced the Amish furniture lines. There are many of them now. Along with Noah Bontrager, you're familiar with him. There is now Amish furnishings for every room in your house. He's got it all. And much of it is available now at the new location. You don't have to special order. You can walk into the new location. You can pick out handcrafted heirloom quality Amish furniture for every room in your house, and it'll be delivered right away. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Of course, Lou still carries bar stools, hundreds available for you right now. Dining sets, bars. If you still wish to special order, you can. But me personally, I've gone nuts over the Amish. My dining room, Amish. My living room, Amish. My bedroom, working on it. It's next. It's on its way. Lou Rodman's Barstool, Patio, and Amish Emporium. Right next to Fashion Furniture, across from Lowe's. Remember, if you want Amish, pick it out and take it home.
Hey, boss, our stupid steam cleaner's busted again.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it from.
Good to know. And hey, in that case, what about my little pressure washer at home? Think they'll fix that up?
The little thing you got at the box store that you use on your patio? No, they don't do that. They specialize in industrial, commercial pressure washers, the big stuff that gets work done.
Yeah, kind of figured that. You know, my steam cleaner's kind of old and in pretty bad shape. I'm not sure it's really worth fixing.
Just let them know. They'll actually come to you and give it a look. If it's worth saving, they'll fix it up. If not, they have some specials going on right now, and they're packed with new inventory, so you won't have to wait.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com.
Real, honest conversation. News Talk 580, 1059, KMJ.
Rolling up on 3 o'clock on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ. Coming up later on in the program, Fresno County Elections Chief James Coos will be here. And in the 4 o'clock hour, Andy Fields back from ABC News to talk about the balance of power in the House and the Senate. Right now, we're sitting down with Clint Olivier. He is the trustee-elect for Area 1 in the Clovis Unified School District. And I really appreciated your answer about what there is to do, because I Clovis Unified, as a Clovis Unified graduate, Clovis Unified can be easy to joke around about because there is kind of an old school vibe there. And as a student, it chafed. And as a parent, it was reassuring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that your answer about kind of expanding life skills and maybe even with an eye towards vocational education that's a really solid answer. You guys have a very different situation in that Clovis Unified has not allowed their students to fall behind as dramatically as Fresno Unified has. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic. I'm talking about academics, period.
Sure.
Earlier, I was looking at this breakdown of the 1776 project pack and these 50 candidates that they sponsored in school board elections all around the country. And the emphasis from the 1776 project pack is to head off the expansion of woke ideology in schools. I'm not being flip when I say this. I'm being completely sincere and as complimentary as possible. Clovis Unified strikes me as the least woke school district in California, especially at the size that they're at. Do you have any concern about families derailing the work of the trustees, squabbling about social issues instead of allowing the focus to remain on academic excellence, athletics, facilities, and the expansion of programs?
Well, you know, because I watched it. I watched the whole thing unfold, listened to it here on KMJ and followed it in the local news. I think the parents feel like they're not being heard. Yes, the Clovis Unified School Board, I think now, I think it's maybe 6-1 Republicans. I mean, it's a nonpartisan board in the state of California. We don't have Democrat, Republican, but it's a conservative bunch. And I think that the school board is going to be vigilant to maintain the Clovis education standards and campus standards that parents have become accustomed to. I don't see that under threat. However, what is under threat is not under threat. And I don't like using war terminology when I'm speaking publicly about policy. Attack, threat, those kinds of charged words. I don't like to use them. But I think Sacramento probably has some stuff coming down the pike for all school districts in California. And I think that it may have something to do with public health mandates. I think it may have something to do with social mandates, curriculum mandates, and I think it's going to be this board's responsibility to weigh if those mandates are compatible with Clovis schools. I also think that we're talking about a board of people, of citizens who are basically volunteering to serve, who are not exclusionary, who are not racist, who are not phobic, who are not cruel, who are not mean, who are not petty. And I think that it's going to be incumbent upon, during my next 4 years, but all of us to navigate these things without being ugly. And I think that there's going to be a way forward. I would love to go up against the state of California on some of this stuff. If it comes up, I'm going to love it. If they come with mask mandates, if they come with shot mandates, things that take away the choice of parents. And I'm going to love, you know me, I love to raise a ruckus, but I think that in the past 1, 2, 3, 4 years, we have a very vocal group of parents, and there are more and more every day who are concerned about the future, who are concerned about the curriculum, who have a list of books that they want out, who are interested in their kids' education. And I don't feel like they feel like they've been heard. That's my job. They absolutely will be heard. And then we'll get to the bottom of it, and then we're going to make good policy that's going to benefit kids.
Can you stick around for another break?
I can.
I want to pick your brain about the midterms in general.
Yeah, let's do it.
Of Clovis Unified, just talk politics. That is the trustee-elect for Clovis Unified School District Board Area 1, Clint Olivier. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. We got an update of headlines coming up, and then more with Clint about this wild midterm season.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Product. I use the service. Stone cold fact. I'm a believer. One of the biggest successes ever was my run with the Noble Truck Accessory Center. Oh, the response was massive, and they're back. This place is Toy Town for truck owners, I'm telling you. And in California, we love our trucks. And whatever it may be for your truck, the Noble Truck Accessory Center will have it. One standalone unbeatable product is anything from Truck Cover USA. A truck cover can improve gas mileage 7 to 10%. Oh yeah, totally weather resistant with the smoothest retractable action. What year is your truck? Pick one, and you'll find a truck cover from Truck Cover USA. And they look so good. There is not a company in California that can touch the Noble Truck Accessory Center. No way. Whether it's products from Truck Cover USA or, yeah, you fill in the blank. It's there at the Noble Truck Accessory Center on Blackstone or Sunnyside. Here it is, babe. You got a truck? You need Noble. And the sooner the better.
For 38 years, Break the Barriers has advocated for individuals of all abilities. Their services also include disabled veterans. This program relied on federal funding to support 700 veterans each month, including PTSD classes, therapy, and adaptive programs. Unfortunately, they will not receive federal funds this year, and veterans may not have access to most essential services. Break the Barriers needs your support to raise $118,000. Consider giving to their cause. To donate, go to breakthebarriers.org.
News Talk 580 AM 105.9 FM KMJ Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's happening. Tulare County Sheriff's Department officials said a 2-day operation over the weekend ended with over 45 suspects arrested. Deputies conducted the multi-agency operation last Thursday and Friday. Authorities also served over 55 arrest warrants, seized 5 guns, and seized over 10 pounds of illegal drugs. 2 people fatally shot sitting in their car over the weekend. It happened Saturday at East Fedora Avenue west of North Blackstone Avenue. Officers said they found a man and a woman with gunshot wounds inside a white Ford pickup. Officers tried to perform life-saving measures, but the man died at the scene. The woman taken to a hospital. She also died. Police continue to investigate. Well, 2 people dead, 1 seriously injured after a crash involving a car and a big rig this morning. It happened in Fresno County.
The Highway Patrol says it was just after 7 a.m. on Cam and Jameson, west of Carruthers and south of Raisin City. A car struck a truck and ended up in a vineyard. The impact causing the semi to leak fuel. That prompted a hazmat call to clean up the spill. 2 people died at the scene. A 3rd person airlifted to the hospital in serious condition. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A teenager being praised after saving his grandmother from a fire in Fresno over the weekend. That fire erupted at a house on East Cortland and North Sierra Vista Avenue Sunday. Officials say the 18-year-old ran into the burning home, quickly got his grandmother out. Fresno Fire Battalion Chief says the home completely destroyed. They're investigating. New House members excited starting their new jobs, preaching bipartisanship. ABC's Alex Prescia has more from Washington.
Newly elected House members gathered Monday for an orientation on Capitol Hill as a handful of tight races that will ultimately determine which party controls Congress are still up in the air.
It's going to be very close, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity for bipartisan legislation.
Democratic Representative-elect Wiley Nickel of North Carolina, Republican Representative-elect Mike Lawler of New York saying this.
It's important to work together to address the challenges that we're facing.
Alex Berchet, ABC News, Washington.
Now, the forecast from Fox 26's Jim De La Vega.
Sunny today with a high in the low 60s. Mostly clear for tonight, dropping down to 38 degrees. Patchy fog returning overnight and into Tuesday morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim De La Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
All right, Jim, out on the roadways of Fresno, East Central Avenue at Academy. Got a collision. At this point, we don't know if there's any injuries. We'll keep you posted on that. In Visalia, eastbound 198 at State Route 63 southbound. Got a non-injury accident affecting traffic at that location. Our next update is at 3:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
If you're eligible, open enrollment is now available and only takes a few moments to sign up. Sante Physicians is here for all of your Medicare needs. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Breaking from the north.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
Philip Teresi.
I'm so glad you could come. I hope you're enjoying it. I think you will.
On News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
3:03 on your afternoon drive. It's Philip Teresi at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Clint Olivier hanging out for a couple more minutes. Again, congratulations on winning Clovis Unified Trustee Area 1. We developed a pretty good relationship with Mr. Casado when he was still on the board. He was kind of a regular caller and was very helpful for us because at that time there had been it had been one of the dress code blow-ups.
Right.
And that's something I can remember being at Clovis High when they added college teams to the no athletics apparel stuff because they blew out pro teams.
Right.
And then it was like, I think it was a full academic year later that they blew up the college teams. And everybody was out of their minds because everybody was going to go have to buy blank starter parkas or whatever the problem was. And it's just every 2 years, Clovis Unified, that's the fight.
Yeah.
And he was very good about calling in and kind of giving this diplomatic overview. So I'm excited to have somebody that I know in the room because I think that Clovis Unified is, for Fresno parents, going to be the team to watch to then see what the board down the street should be doing.
I like that. I like that very much. I like that because I think it's true. I think I think they do a good job. There are some I have not met. I'm excited to meet them all. I've had occasion to talk with Dina Combs Flores. She's the new person going into District 6 for the first time in a very, very long time. She was endorsed by the Republican Central Committee. I was endorsed by the Republican Central Committee. So we've met. She's fantastic. She's an educator. But, this is what I liked about the Fresno City Council. One was a lawyer. Then there was me, who's a journalist and broadcaster and a real estate dude. It's the same. I mean, I guess it's the same on every board, right?
Sure.
So over here in Clovis, you've got the eye doctor, and now you've got the journalist, broadcaster, business guy, and you've got Dina, who's an educator, teacher, and the whole, it runs a gamut, different experiences. And I think when we come together, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great experience. And again, I'm naturally curious. I'm a lifelong learner. I know I'm going to have a lot to read. I was not a great student, so I'm kind of maybe a little scared like when I was a kid. Well, Clint, where's your homework? I think it's in here somewhere. Did you do your homework? Oh, I don't remember. I think so. So that's the guy that's on the board now. I'm on a school board. But no, I mean, I educate myself. And I read voraciously, and I'm up on current events. I consider myself a halfway intelligent person. So I think I'll be a good addition to their group. I think we'll get a lot of good stuff done. I'm very excited. I'm very optimistic.
So we aren't done with the midterms yet.
No.
I mean, I'm looking at the chyrons here. We got 3 different networks on TV, and currently the balance of the House is 212 to the Republicans, 204 to the Democrats. No guarantee that they're going to pick up 6 more on the right, although I'm confident that they will. And in the Senate, it appears now that the Democrats are going to have their majority when you incorporate the Harris vote, but it's 50 to Democrats, 49 to Republicans.
And if Herschel gets in, it'll be 50-50, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm for Herschel.
I'm going to admit I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Well, how can you go against one of the greatest running backs in football history?
If we were talking about
No, I'm not for Herschel.
Ball.
I'm for the whole thing disappearing and going away. But if you got to be for somebody, why not go for the one of the best running backs ever?
This is the problem. This is the problem with the Warnock-Walker race and the Fetterman-Oz race.
Right. Oh, Fetterman-Oz race.
Herschel Walker and Mehmet Oz are terrible candidates for the United States Senate. And in any sane society, they would have been laughed out the door in the primaries.
Let me tell you something. The 17th Amendment to the United States Constitution was the joke. They should repeal the 17th Amendment to the United States Constitution and return the senators to their original status, the way the founders intended, which was the state legislatures send 2 senators to Washington to advocate for the rights of the sovereign states. This whole thing where you've turned an entire wing of the legislature into a pork gimme, and you have reduced the Senate to a mere congressman, that's the joke. It was in the old days before 1913. It was in the old days the legislatures picked the senators, and the senators went to Washington. That's why they were the old guys with the cigars and the whiskey, and it was an exclusive club. They didn't have to face re-election from the unwashed masses who just want more stuff. So Oz, Fetterman, Harry Reid, Mitt Romney, Robert Byrd, they can all take a flying leap because they shouldn't even be there. I am done. Sorry.
I'm absolutely willing to entertain that argument.
But
then there's the part where we got to get the herd of cats that is the electorate of the United States to agree to move on that. Both of those races, I think, also highlight exactly why what you're saying it's not a joke.
No.
Because Warnock isn't as bad as Fetterman, but he's still a left-wing goofball.
Yes.
But I find myself looking at the left-wing goofball whose policies suck and the pathological liar who was waving a toy badge around.
Who's that?
Walker.
Well, didn't Fetterman chase some guy down the street with a shotgun? Dude, they're all screwed. We're screwed. This is the worst bunch of people we've ever had in there.
No, when Mitch McConnell made his candidate quality mark, I thought that's a turn of phrase that he has been whittling down from an expletive laden string of bile. And yet right now we're standing here, we are hours away from it being fully a week of election counting.
Yeah. After a month of election voting.
I don't hate the idea of people being able to vote by mail as a general concept. And I think for people who really want to do it, and especially for people who need it, service members overseas, physically infirm, all of that. I'm not trying to jerk the rug out from underneath these folks. I want them to exercise their franchise too. I hate the election week. I hate that we're taking this long to do something that used to be over through most of the country by 9 o'clock last Tuesday night.
Philip, elections are supposed to be a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
A snapshot in time of what the electorate thinks, what they want. Boom, snap, instant. Now, though, you've got a month. And I just read this morning, we're taking, you got Coos coming in, the clerk. And we're and this is not him. I'm just saying that he's coming on KMJ with Philip. But, we've got so many thousands of ballots that are coming in, and then we've got a few hundred of these provisional ones. And then there was a whole new category of ones that are not provisional or late. They're held aside for additional inspection, whatever. I mean, at this point, it's so we've got a month of voting. We've got 2 weeks of counting. It's not the snapshot in time that an election is. I mean, there are people who voted at the very beginning of October. The ballots dropped on the 9th or 10th or whatever, and there were people who voted and sent it in.
Yeah.
And what happens? Hunter's laptop comes out, and I mean, now I'm talking 4 years ago, whatever it was.
But it's a valid point to bring up.
Something could happen a week before, and I'm not talking about a dirty trick or an October surprise or something. I'm talking about something valid. Something happens. The United States is attacked, and maybe we want Herschel Walker instead of Warren. The United States is attacked, or a real virus kills billions of more people, and maybe we do want Trump in there, or maybe we do want Obama. I'm saying that having a month of voting doesn't deliver the snapshot anymore. Yeah. You got people calling in because they regret their vote. Oh, can I get a new ballot? Can I change? I didn't like this guy. I didn't like this lady. It just opens up a bag of cats, and that's the way elections are going to be forever in this country. The ballots go out by the millions. People bubble in and send it in, and we count for 2 weeks. That's the way it is now, new normal.
I heard the argument made last week by Tucker Carlson, of all people. Let's go back to how we were voting 20 years ago. Paper ballots. Everybody gets counted. Mail-ins for people who actually need it as a purely opt-in. And Carlson also brought up require photo ID, which I don't have a problem with. I got mine. Does that get us back to a more accurate and timely election process? And does that reduce the anxiety about election fraud, voter fraud?
Nobody believes it anymore. Nobody believes it. And, I detest that term denier. I just detest it because it's Holocaust imagery used to score political points, whether it's climate change denial or election denial. No, I'm a skeptic. I'm a smart person. I read from a variety of sources, including NPR, including MSNBC, including KMJ, including Daily Wire. I read it all so that I can understand it. Don't call me a denier. But I think that we have crossed, now to use a cliche, we've crossed the Rubicon. Philip, it'll never go back. It'll never go back to the way it was, because now if you say what you just said, Philip, is to some people, they'll say, I'm triggered and frightened by what Philip Teresi just said, because he says he's okay with an ID card. He says, let's just do opt-in for what we used to call absentee ballots. Or people will say, well, God, Philip Teresi is an election suppressor. He wants to suppress disadvantaged people who are too stupid to have an ID, which we know is a myth because everybody's got an ID. And so that's the debate now. They've reframed the debate, and now they say that if you think you should show an ID card like they do in 130 other countries in the world, that you are somehow a bad person because you just said that and you feel that way.
Well, and I know
You're
that
not.
And I know that there's people who are going to make these very big emotional pleas against that. I'm looking at accuracy. I'm looking at speed of service. I'm looking at security, because right now, and I'm not picking on any particular jurisdiction except you, Maricopa County. I mean, seriously, guys. But every jurisdiction where we have upped the level of technology, we have lowered the level of confidence.
Is it insane?
And so eventually, and this is the piece that I think gets lost in all of the hair on fire nonsense, all of those computers just read the ballot. They're just speeding up the process of reading and doing the hash mark for who gets what. In terms of changing the ballot that got mailed in, that's not how they work. But when you go to the recount, when you go to the audit, you then do the process of reviewing the ballots the way we were doing it 20 years ago.
Right. Well, I mean,
so if in every jurisdiction where we have anything close, I'm looking at Valadeo Salas, that's still kind of close.
And Gray and Duarte.
And Gray Duarte might actually be close enough to trigger automatic recount. I think Valadeo Salas, I think that if Salas wants it, he's going to have to pay for it, but that doesn't mean it's out of the question or even a laughable suggestion considering how close they are. If every time we have to recount, we have to go through the ballots by hand anyways, why not just go through ballots by hand in the first place, restore that confidence, restore that eyes-on process, let the ballot watchers come in, let the auditors come in and observe while it's happening in real time.
I'm with you. And here's the thing, the reason I brought up that they call it election deniers. Well, there's the lady down in Georgia who said that she got cheated, and she's gone 4 years now. But that's somehow okay. And then there's I'm trying to think, there's another prominent Democrat candidate who lost. Well, Hillary Clinton is the biggest one, the queen of them all. And you know what? Ever since that 2000 Bush v. Gore thing, nobody believes anything anymore. I know that our side doesn't believe it. I know the other side doesn't believe it. Everybody's crying foul. And it's just a big, huge mess. It's a big mess. I don't know what the answer is. I think the answer is to do what you say and go back to how they voted 30 years ago. But you see, that's not progressive, and it's actually, in some people's minds, it's exclusionary and harmful. But I disagree.
The more that we invite technology into this, the lower confidence is going to be amongst the voters. Yeah. It's Clint Olivier. He won his race for Clovis Unified School District Area 1 Board of Trustees. Takes office in January, and I'm looking forward to learning about that process, man.
Yeah, I'll come back and tell you. Am I done here?
Do you want to stick around?
If you want me to.
I'll keep you.
I've got 15 more minutes, but I have a Zoom at 4.
All right, Clint's going to stick around so we can do a little bit more on these midterms. I want to ask him about a couple of the races here in town, get his take on the stuff that's gotten a little tight. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
In Fresno, westbound 180, northbound 99, right there at the connector, they got a non-injury accident. Look for some slowdown in traffic in that area. Also in Fresno, on East Central at Academy, got a collision with unknown injuries. To Squaw Valley on eastbound 180, just east of Simon, there is a non-injury accident there. And Visalia, eastbound 198 at State Route 63. Got a non-injury accident. Next update is at 3:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the California DMV. Did you know that many DMV tasks, like renewing your registration or changing your address, can be done online when it's convenient for you? Check them off your to-do list without a trip to the DMV. Get started today at dmv.ca.gov/online.
Bill Powers here, your favorite electric company executive, with a special service announcement for all you people thinking about solar. You should wait until the end of the year. That's when new solar customers will be paying me a lot more. Who doesn't want to pay me more?
No, Bill. If you're talking about California's new solar policy, people will need to move quickly and call solar negotiators if they want to lock in the current solar benefits before the policy changes.
No. Tell them to take their time. They've lived without solar this long. Plus, like Mom always said, patience is a virtue. And make sure you pay your bills, especially your power bill.
I'm pretty sure our customers' mothers would never tell them that wasting money is a good thing. And continuing to pay your power bill when you could go solar is wasting money. In fact, Bill, I'm not even sure why I'm still talking to you. This message is for our customers.
Not cool, Helen. This was supposed to be my commercial.
Nope. We're shutting you down, Bill. To go solar today, call Solar Negotiators, powered by Solar Maintenance Pros, your lifetime energy partner.
Since he was little, you've always been there for him. You're the cool uncle, the one who taught him how to grass dance, the one who was there when he caught his first fish. And while your health may have slowed you down a bit, it hasn't stopped you from being there for him, and neither should COVID. Getting your updated COVID vaccine protects you against the original virus and the Omicron variant, so you can continue to be there for him.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines for everyone 5 and over at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Sometimes the grass really is greener when you live on the green. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and our highly anticipated gated community at Clubview is finally here. Located along the first hole of the beautiful Copper River Country Club, these lots have some of the best views of the course and iconic clubhouse, with new plans and elevations to fit your lifestyle. You can be near it all, but far from ordinary.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License number 847905.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
So sorry the food is late.
You should order through EasyCater. Professionally delivered on time and as ordered.
Totally would, but the E is broken on my keyboard.
Just get IT to fix it.
Totally would. Can't type the word help.
Why don't all companies order through EasyCater? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. That's our thing.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild. When the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up, it's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main in Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
Join Hala Taha for actionable advice from the brightest minds in the world on the Young and Profiting Podcast. Author and academic Arthur Brooks on what success isn't.
The husband was confessing to his wife that he might as well be dead. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's wrong with this guy? I turn around to get a look, and it turns out to be one of the most famous men in the world. The world tells you that if you are profiting, money, power, pleasure, fame, you're going to be happy. And that's a bogus formula.
The Young and Profiting Podcast, wherever you listen.
3:23 on the afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. You're listening to News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. On the way after the bottom of the hour news, James Cuss, the Fresno County Elections Chief, will be here to talk about the 2022 midterm elections and where we are at in Fresno County. And I'm going to see if I can pick his brain on refinements, if he could make recommendations on that. As well. But right now, Clint Olivier's here, fresh off of a victory in the Clovis Unified Area 1 trustee race. And I've been talking with Clint about the election and just the insanity of what we're going through now and the uncertainty of it all. And there's a professor over at Fresno State who is making the argument that it is time to include election education as a core educational component.
You can't. Because then you're going to fight over, well, what are we going to teach? What are we? I mean, we've got folks who are all bent and pent up about whether we teach that Washington and Adams and Jefferson were good men and the founding documents are worthwhile. Yeah. Now, can you imagine crafting a curriculum on how to vote? Can you imagine? Because look, I'll say this. I did it's called Ballots and Brews, and it was downtown. And it was put on by Fresno Land, which is an organization that's a community education awareness kind of organization. They tilt left, and I was on a panel. I did it 4 years ago, and I was on the panel, and everybody on the panel was left of me.
Yeah.
And Miguel Arias, the city councilman from District 3 in Fresno, he's a lightning rod. He's opinionated. He's out there and not afraid to speak his mind. We kind of got into it a little bit about the sample ballot that comes out.
Yeah.
And he says, well, nobody's going to read that. And I said, well, they should read it. It's their damn civic duty to read the sample ballot and get educated and learn. He goes, nobody's going to read it. Somebody needs to explain it better. And I said, who's going to explain? That's what the campaign is for. Well, there's misinformation in campaign. That's what a campaign is. That's what it's for. People say bad things about you. People put out false, fraudulent, spurious things about you. That's what that's for. So who are you going to have, Mr. Professor Dude? Who are you going to have teach that class, and what's he going to teach? Because I'm going to teach my kid how to vote a whole lot different than you're going to teach your kid how to vote.
Well, and I think that you've got two separate lanes in that broader idea of teaching somebody how to vote, because there's the informing of political proclivities. Why is conservatism superior to liberalism? Why is constitutional originalism superior to a living document interpretation? That kind of thing. And then there's the mechanics of voting. What is a requirement to be eligible to vote? What is the purpose of the voter guide? And how do you learn to get through campaign website after campaign website, ad after ad, and objectively evaluate what's coming from what party and what information is of value?
Who's going to teach it?
I think you and Miguel Arias should teach it as a team.
No, I would love to. We're good on a panel together, believe it or not, because we're not afraid to engage on these kinds of things. But I said at the Ballots and Brews event, I said, no, I mean, we took issue because I said, no, it's your civic duty to cut through the crap and cast what you believe to be a principled and informed vote. But you know what? There are folks, they don't know they vote. There are folks who bought the mailer and they vote, and then you get the snapshot on election day. You get that snapshot with everybody mixed in. The people who are really into it, the people who are not really into it, the people who are misinformed, the people who are well into it. It all goes into the hopper, and we get the result. And that's America now. I mean, it always has been, but now we've got the mail-in ballot.
Is there an argument to be made that if you don't care and you aren't motivated, you shouldn't be voting anyway?
I can't say that. I'm a politician, elected official, and a patriotic American. Everybody needs to vote. Is that a good enough answer for you?
Because it's a great soundbite. But when you've got somebody who doesn't know, doesn't care, and doesn't even know if they've registered.
This is great because we've got James Coos on hold right now. Hello, James. I know you're listening to this conversation right now. No, I can't say, stupid people, dumb people, misinformed people, and Democrats should not be voting. I can't say that on the air.
No
matter how I feel about it. But the reality is you've got your informed voters, you've got your misinformed voters, and then sometimes you throw propaganda at the informed ones and throw a spanner into the gears. I mean, it's insane is what it is.
Well, and that propaganda piece, that's another one. And in this particular cycle, one of the big pieces that jumped out and that it came down to Fourth Estate doing what it's supposed to do and putting the information out. Nancy Pelosi was sending money through her PAC to the VPP PAC, which is Andrew Jan's. And that was then being spent in the South Valley on sometimes anti-Valadeo, sometimes pro-Matisse back in the primary.
Right.
But it wasn't Nancy Pelosi bought an ad to promote candidate X or to tell people that candidate Y was a knucklehead. It was, in my opinion, laundered through these entities. And if you didn't have somebody from GV Wire or the Fresno Bee or KMJ or Fox 26 saying, oh, by the way, this is where this money really came from, I don't even think that you can go to the low information voter. I think the majority of people don't have the time or the familiarity with the system to navigate that path to see, oh, that's where that money came from.
But people are busy. People are at daycare. People are in night school. People are sick. People are fighting cancer. People have a sick child. People got fired. I mean, if you think about it, how much does the average person, and this is not a hit on the average person. I love the average person because I am one. But how much? I mean, but I'm a political creature, and you're on the radio, and the guy on hold right now counts the ballots. I mean, we're in it. We're in that bubble.
Yeah.
But how much time does the average American even have for this?
We got to leave it there. Clint, thank you very much for coming in today, man.
I thank you for having me, and it's always a good time. I'll be in for Ray next week, Thursday, Friday, and then the Monday after that. But, call me anytime you need somebody to come in and yell at you and disagree with you and agree and have a good time.
Absolutely, I will. Clint Olivier, everybody, your new trustee for Clovis Unified School District Area 1. When we get back, Fresno County Registrar of Voters James Cuss joins us to talk about our progress in Fresno County on midterms 2022.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. An injured 10-year-old child helped to lead rescuers to her mother's crash car Sunday night in Visalia. That 10-year-old walked over half a mile to a gas station at about 10 at night to tell someone her mother had been drinking and had crashed her SUV. She told people at the gas station that the car was on the railroad tracks and her mother's still inside and hurt. Police found that woman in the SUV near Goshen Avenue and Kelsey Street and say the SUV had rolled over, losing control due to high driving speeds. Firefighters able to safely remove the woman. She was flown to a hospital to be treated for serious injuries. The daughter also taken to the hospital by ambulance to be treated for minor injuries. California's Department of Public Health reports the first death in a child under 5 due to the flu and respiratory virus known as RSV. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
Health Director Dr. Tomas Aragon is urging parents and guardians to vaccinate their children as soon as possible against the flu and COVID-19. His same advice for COVID works for RSV. Wear a mask to protect yourself and others. Ventilate or filter air. Wash hands and cover coughs and stay home if sick. He says flu activity soars in California as respiratory illnesses threaten hospitals. According to the CDC, this season across the U.S., there's been an estimated 2.8 million flu cases, 23,000 hospitalizations, and 1,300 deaths. 3 children have died reportedly this week. That makes 5 so far this season. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now, the forecast from Fox 26's Jim Della Vega.
Sunny today with a high in the low 60s. Mostly clear for tonight, dropping down to 38 degrees. Patchy fog returning overnight and into Tuesday morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim Della Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks. And always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, westbound 180 and northbound 99, right there at the connector. Got a non-injury accident in Squaw Valley on eastbound 180, just east of Simon Lane. They're cleaning up a non-injury accident. And finally in Visalia, eastbound 198 at State Route 63. Non-injury accident at that location. Next update is at 3:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Kelly Blue Book. Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer is an official offer to buy your car. Enter your vehicle ID info, answer some questions, then get a no-obligation offer to sell or trade it. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car. Schedule a time and drive away with confidence. For all of the its, KBB.com it.
family farms are up against so much. So everywhere they turn, they're getting hit.
So there are changes coming from the utility that ties in with net energy metering. The sense of urgency is certainly driven by that change coming from NEM 2 to NEM 3.
What's going to happen is when NEM 3 comes, is they're going to limit your credits back when you're producing power.
You know, they're moving the goalposts. The utilities are changing the rules of the game.
Solar is the best savings now.
If you haven't gone solar for your farming operation or commercial business, the time really is now.
Rates are going up more and more. We've already seen almost a 40% rate increase in the last 10 years.
Being locally owned in the market for as long as we have, that creates a sense of trust and long-term support.
Here at Pickett Solar, 90+% of our business is ag. We have great relationships we've developed, and we've earned the trust of many families throughout the valley that feel confident in referring us to their friends and other family members.
With Pickett Solar, we provide a way for our clients to save money and gain energy independence.
Concrete blocks are being used to cover electrical access panels to prevent copper thieves from robbing you blind. Check them out online at bestconcreteblocks.com.
Hi, plumbing control. This broken water heater needs a bit more expertise. I think we might need...
Oh, no. Don't say it.
Yes, call Maverick.
Where is it?
Through there!
Intercept, intercept, intercept! This leak! Engage, engage, engage! Wrench!
My goodness, he's good.
Top Plumber, your plumbing specialist from Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Available to take on all your plumbing needs. Whether it's residential or commercial plumbing, Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, whatever your problem, we're here to help. And fast. And now you can book an appointment online. And 18 months no interest and no payment, same as cash, on all major repairs and services. That's a Top Plumber coming to you soon. When you call 559-296-9555. That's 559-296-9555. Or book online at leesair.com. That's leesair.com. CLN 635-355.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. It's Provember at Lowe's, and you can save up to $750 on select major appliances from Hisense. And get free delivery on items $396 or more in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. Offer ends 11/30.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
I hate this guy. This guy's a jerk.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
All through the 3 o'clock hour on KMJ. Thanks again to Clint Olivier for giving us some extra time this afternoon. Our next guest is the Fresno County Clerk and Registrar of Voters, James Coase. James, welcome back to KMJ. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Philip. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you making time. I know it has been it's been a busy week or so for you guys down there. I guess my first question for you is, in the 2022 midterms in Fresno County, how is it going? Has everything been smooth? Have you encountered any unexpected bumps in the road?
I'd say it's been a very smooth election. A bit busy on election day, so a little busier than we expected, and we had what ended up being a very good turnout. It started off as a very slow, low turnout election, and it really kicked up on Monday and Tuesday. And that has actually resulted, unfortunately, in us being a little behind in getting more results out because we got so many ballots that we're working our way through right now.
Is that a product of, as we pivoted towards this mail-in system, a loss of manpower in the office, or is it just the way that things have to be counted now slowing it down?
I think it's more the second one. So we have not reduced the manpower in office. Office power is still equivalent or equal to what we had before. What we have seen, however, is that overall there's been a big increase in the amount of VBMs that are used. So roughly 90% of our return will be VBM. For this election, it might be about 89%. But what we've also seen is that, and I'm not certain whether this is a change yet or just something that we've seen in these last few elections, is a lot of people, even though they got their ballot a month ago, waiting until the very last day to return it. And that creates just a throughput issue. When you give me 10,000 a day, no problem. We fly right through that. We're done by lunch. But when I have 70,000 in one day to push through, it just gets in its own way, and it slows things down more than it should.
One of the biggest conversations that we've seen in the media and in talking with people just out in the street, talking with my friends, I hear this. There's a lot of concern, not specifically in Fresno County, but all across the country, about accuracy and integrity. And under your predecessor, Brandy Orth, I had an opportunity to see how your office does what it does, and I was very impressed by the diligence and the level of security in there. But you've now been there for 2 cycles. Do you hear people concerned about security, concerned about accuracy, or are people content that this slow progress yields a quality product?
No, I still get those same questions, same concerns that we've gotten the last 4 years, 6 years now, last 4-6 years. And while there was a real heightened point there 2 years ago, we've done a lot of work locally to try and bring folks in, give people that same experience that you've had, to see how the process works, to explain all the steps. And when we do that, I feel voters really have that opportunity, that same feeling that you do, that locally, at least, we're doing things the right way. Now, that can be hard to do, to bring in 500,000 registered voters and give them that same opportunity. So we're working on ways to try and get that information out there. We've done presentations, but we're looking at doing videos where we take you behind the scenes and other access points to give everyone a little more behind the scenes feel for what we do.
Now, I know that as the county clerk, as the registrar of voters, your role is to implement policy. You're not a policy maker. You are there to do what the County Board of Supervisors, the State of California Secretary of State, what has been outlined as the parameters of the job. But I also know that you don't do a job without developing opinions about it. And I want to ask you, when we look at the automatic mail-in voting, when we look at the drop box, when we look at just the sheer volume of mail-in stuff, do you have an opinion you're willing to share about the wisdom of rolling things back to election counting as it was a decade ago?
Well, one of the things I'm going to go, you're going to have to go 2 decades ago to take out vote by mail.
Okay.
That's the minimum point you'd have to go to reduce vote by mail down to a portion where it wasn't representing near to a majority or a majority of ballots in Fresno County. And we were, you got to say, one of the slower uptakes in vote by mail in the state. Then to go back further, you have to go back to the 60s before you were using a non-automated system. So going back, I think people have a rosy view of what they experienced 20 years ago or 40 years ago. And that, hey, we got the results overnight. Well, 20 years ago, you didn't get the results overnight. 20 years ago, you had 5 or 6 ballots that were given to you across a year. Now you get 2. The complexity is a major inhibitor of that speed of processing. And I have folks that say, oh, we can do this by hand. Look, France did it by hand in one night. France had 1 question on their ballot.
Yeah.
We had the simplest ballot in Fresno County for this election had 32 questions on there. And there were 115 odd different contests in Fresno County for this election. That's a level of complexity that requires a longer period of time to count, to analyze, to make sure that's done right.
Sure.
So rolling back, we'd have to go way back, and I think the result would be a drastic reduction in participation for most material.
Okay.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go back 20, 30 years, participation in an election like this one right here would have been 50, 60%. But participation in the school board would have been a tenth of what they're seeing for this election. Not that much. That's an exaggeration. Sorry. I mean, it'd be 10%, 15% compared to the 40% they're going to have.
Sure.
So I like participation.
Of course.
I'd like to get results out faster. And so I'm kind of in this stuck point here that I agree. I'd love to have results out faster, be able to stay stuff, but the opportunity for participation, especially under the new system here, where a voter gets to choose how they want to vote, where they want to vote, and has more time to do that. I love it. I just wish people would take more advantage of it.
So, James, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you if there are any races here in Fresno County that just by virtue of they're so darn close, are you anticipating anything that's going to require or that may be challenged by a loser and then require a recount of some sort?
I'm watching multiple elections. There are multiple contests. We have, like I said, over 100 different contests. Yeah. There are some of them that are separated by 5 or 10. Now, in a major election with a major jurisdiction, 5 or 10's, that's a really close race. When there's only 100 or 200 votes in there, 10 votes is actually a really pretty big margin, but we're still watching them. We will work with the candidates and be ready. I know that we have a couple state races that Fresno County at least has a portion in.
Sure.
And those will be very interesting to watch because you can't really challenge those until the state certifies the results. We're going to certify our results on December 8th. The state has 8 days after that to certify their results. So there could be a lot of really interesting things happening in December.
So there will definitely be some more examination of some of the ballots, but at this point, you don't want to jinx it by naming any names.
Yeah, I'm not going to name any names. I don't want to jinx that. We're just right now getting started with our internal manual tally, kind of our internal testing processes, which are going to be happening at our warehouse. That's open for observation for anyone who wants to come down and watch that. Be spending probably the next week doing that, and then 3 weeks of post-election canvass. We're hoping to have all the ballots counted here just at the end of this week here. But there's always going to be some still out there because the way California has it set up, voters who didn't sign their ballot or have their signature challenged have an opportunity to cure that all the way up until that first week of December. So most of the races probably will be wrapped up this Friday, sure. But there's always ballots out there. And so things are going to be interesting well into December.
So are you confident at this point that by early mid-December, the county of Fresno we're going to be certified, we're going to be done, barring some exceptional circumstance? It sounds like we are on track and that your office is maybe not having an easy time, but everything's going as designed, yes?
Absolutely. We will be certifying on December 8th, even with something, a hiccup of some type. I've got even with the holidays coming up in here, because we still have Thanksgiving coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I've got at least a week's worth of work days as in my back pocket to facilitate this process and make sure. And that's assuming most of our processes actually do take as long as I do think the VVM is going to take this week. The tally, we're going to be taking. There's a lot of stuff for us to go through there in our canvas. We've got a very good process post-election in Fresno County. We will be done and certified on December 8th.
James, I really appreciate the update and the information, man. I look forward to catching up again soon.
Pleasure, Philip.
That is James Cuss. He is the county clerk and the registrar of voters here in the county of Fresno. And I'm glad of that because things are going as smoothly as they possibly can, considering just the size of the undertaking that his office has. You heard him. The certification on December 8th is on track. He's got no doubt in his mind that we will be there. And I look forward to additional updates as the days roll by. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Questions and comments, join us on the other side at 490-5858.
In Hanford on Excelsior at Avenue 14 and a quarter, there is a collision. Possible injuries now being reported. In Visalia, eastbound 198 at State Route 63, 9-injury accident there. Squaw Valley, eastbound 180 just east of Simon. They're cleaning up a non-injury accident. Next update, 4:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Halloween is over, but hiring is still scary. Indeed's end-to-end solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Lou Rodman has a brand new name, a brand new location that will knock your socks off. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Let me tell you, his customer base, have really embraced the Amish furniture lines. There are many of them now. Along with Noah Bontrager, you're familiar with him. There is now Amish furnishings for every room in your house. He's got it all, and much of it is available now at the new location. You don't have to special order. You can walk into the new location, you can pick out handcrafted heirloom quality Amish furniture for every room in your house, and it'll be delivered right away. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Of course, Lou still carries bar stools, hundreds available for you right now. Dining sets, bars. If you still wish to special order, you can. But me personally, I've gone nuts over the Amish. My dining room, Amish. My living room, Amish. My bedroom, working on it. It's next. It's on its way. Lou Rodman's Barstool, Patio, and Amish Emporium. Right next to Fashion Furniture, across from Lowe's. Remember, if you want Amish, pick it out and take it home.
Our electric bills were pretty high.
I'm concerned about the condition of our infrastructure.
Recently in California with the fires, they said that they're going to shut off the power and it could be shut off for longer periods than usual.
I looked at our electric bills and they keep going up and up and up.
We had to find a solution to our energy bill.
Your home is an ecosystem. Solar power, battery storage, and efficient air conditioning all work together to ensure your house is comfortable, protected, and self-sustaining. Save today and prepare for tomorrow with Semper 360, the all-in-one home energy solution.
The savings are better than what I expected.
I said, I want the A-Team. This was the A-Team.
From the beginning to the end, they have been the best.
Declare your energy independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar, battery, and air contractor. Take advantage of the 30% federal solar tax credit. Zero down, zero interest, and zero payments for 12 months. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit sempersolaris.com. Expires November 30th, 2022. CSLB 978152.
Class, I have a question for you. Who's been the number one team in realty in Fresno Clovis since 2011? Who sold over 6,750 homes since 1971? Who has more 5-star reviews on Google and Zillow than anybody? And whose name sounds like a foreign rugby club? The Zuber Team. Z-U-B-E-R. Zuber Team. And their sport is getting your home sold. And they do this with so many innovations. The trade-up program, the instant cash offer, that's a biggie, and also helping with repairs. You got a few things that need to be done, that need to be touched up before you sell? Darren can get a lot of help for your home, and it'll be in great shape. So when it hits the market, you will get every penny that you ask for. That impeccable team, the Zuber Team, led by Darren and Daryl. Click ZuberTeam.com or Google Zuber Team. I am actually thinking about downsizing. Yeah, so you know who I'm going to use if it comes to that.
License number 1213700.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continue to take Andro 400 and I've maintained my weight at 172. Gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Hi, this is Sherry. My husband started taking Andro 400 a few months ago, and wow, has he ever changed. He's no longer a couch potato, and he actually likes to go out and do things again. Best of all, he lost his gut, and is he looking good. All I have to say about that is...
Andro 400, the natural way to increase your testosterone. Guys, if you'd like to lose your belly fat, gain energy and muscle, and feel like you did years ago, try Andro 400, the safe, effective, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Andro400.com.
For more than 2 decades, the Business Journal has been the comprehensive source for business news in Fresno, Kings, Madera, and Tulare counties. We deliver the Valley's most important business stories in print, online at thebusinessjournal.com, and to email inboxes via our daily update and morning roundup newsletters. The Business Journal has won dozens of local, state, and national awards for its news coverage, design, and web development. Communication with the Fresno Business Journal can have a positive impact on your company's bottom line. Readers of the Business Journal are affluent and influential. Collectively, they lead and manage about 50% of the metro area's total employees. Readers of the Business Journal make personal and professional buying decisions every day. Advertising in the Business Journal influences people with influence. Call their marketing people today at 490-3422 and stay ahead of your competition. That's 490-3422. Or email Abner Garcia at abner@thebusinessjournal.com.
KMJ Radio, streaming, social, smart speakers, on demand, online, anytime. You're always connected with KMJ. KMJ.
Rolling up on 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Andy Field from ABC News will join us here in just a few minutes. We got an update of headlines coming with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom. And then we'll talk with Andy about the Congress. Looks like Dems have got the Senate locked in again, even with the Georgia runoff still to come. And the House, as of right now, it is still technically, mathematically up for grabs, so we will get Andy's take on that after the top of the hour news with Jim Miller. Just a quick story here. You guys could not possibly have missed the story of Joe and Sam Baker, a father and his 8-year-old son, climbing El Capitan. This was, just a couple of weeks ago. And Sam became the youngest person to climb El Capitan. Or did he? Climbers are taking issue with the claim that Sam climbed El Capitan because Sam was using something called an ascender. It assists a climber in going up and prevents them from falling down. So Sam did go up the face of El Capitan, but in the parlance of the climbing community, he is not the youngest person to have climbed El Capitan. He is the youngest person to have jugged El Capitan. Is this gatekeeping? Is this really the level of parsing necessary with an 8-year-old doing something that wild? The kid lived on the face of that thing for, a week? Slept in those weird little tents that clipped to the side of the mountain. Went to the bathroom while hanging from a 2,500-foot elevation. I don't know. It surprised me to see that there was any controversy about this, but I don't know climbing, so I guess I don't know. Andy Field from ABC News joins us in mere minutes on the afternoon drive on KMJ. Don't move.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for just $49.99 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying bundle. Offer ends 12/5/2022. Restrictions apply. EcoBill and AutoPay required. New 50 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Mobile Savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Fall is the perfect season to cozy up in your new dream home. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and we have a few move-in ready homes waiting for you and your family in some of our most popular neighborhoods. Enjoy the highest quality craftsmanship and luxury amenities that have come to define a Gary McDonald home without the wait.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License Number 847905.
You know what I love about November? The chill of the air, the warmth of the fire, the unforgettable smell of cold hard cash. It's November to remember at Tachi Palace. Every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Premier Club members that rack up over 100 points can win up to $5,000 in cash and prizes. So this fall, make it a November to remember. See Premier Club for more details. Only at Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore.
I have Life Source water in my home. It's Ray Appleton. I can taste and feel the difference, and I love it. You can too. Call 559-449-8822 or click lifesourcewater.com.
News Talk 580, 105.9, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus media station honoring America's veterans.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. 2 people dead, another seriously hurt follows a crash in Fresno County. It happened about 7 this morning on South Cam and West Jameson Avenues. CHP says a big rig driver ran a stop sign, hitting a sedan. That sedan driver died at the scene. 2 people ejected from the big rig, one pronounced dead, the other person taken to the hospital in serious condition. Officials identifying 2 people shot to death in Fresno this weekend. Angelique Edwards and Richard Spruill shot multiple times sitting in a truck on Fedora Avenue Saturday night. Police aren't sure what motivated someone to open fire on the 2 victims, both in their 40s. Investigators working to determine what happened. We're learning more about the victims in Saturday's mid-air crash of 2 World War II airplanes at an air show in Dallas. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Terry Barker was well known in the Dallas area. He was retired from American Airlines and served on the Keller, Texas City Council. He was on board the B-17 when it went down. The host of the air show, the Commemorative Air Force, confirming all 6 men's identities who died on board the B-17 Flying Fortress and the P-63 King Cobra when they collided in midair. Also on board, Craig Hutain, Kevin Michaels, Kurt Rowe, Leonard Root, and Dan Reagan.
KMJ has learned that pilot Kevin Michaels has ties to the Central Valley with family farming in Madera. Visalia police officials looking for a suspect after the person attempted to steal a car with a baby inside. Police say it happened at Mary's Vineyard Shopping Center in Noble Avenue Friday. Police able to find the car quickly with a baby inside and unharmed. The suspect facing auto theft and kidnapping charges. Fresno County Sheriff's Office invites you to learn about becoming a dispatcher on Tuesday.
You can meet the dispatch recruitment team from 5 to 8 p.m. It's at the Cup of Joy Coffee House on North Cedar Avenue by Shepherd in Fresno. Recruiters can discuss jobs such as a deputy, dispatcher, correctional officer, and more. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office currently has applications open for Communications Dispatcher 1. The salary from $48,000 up to more than $59,000. And Crime Scene Specialist 1, the salary in the same range. The Sheriff's Office says it's an opportunity to network and get answers to your questions. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now, the forecast from Fox 26's Jim Della Vega.
Sunny today with a high in the low 60s. Mostly clear for tonight, dropping down to 38 degrees. Patchy fog returning overnight and into Tuesday morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim Della Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thanks, Jim. Got a collision just coming in northbound 41 on Bryant Road. There's a couple of cars involved. The cars are in the center divide, and so far it's not affecting traffic flow, so that's kind of good. Hanford Excelsior at 14 and a quarter Avenue, a collision being reported there. Squaw Valley, they're dealing with a non-injury accident eastbound 180 just east of Simon Lane. And finally in Visalia, eastbound 198 to State Route 63, non-injury accident there. I'm Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 4:05 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Thanks for being here. Phone numbers 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. We'll get back to calls after we talk with our guest. Andy Field is an ABC News correspondent. He joins us again on the afternoon drive. Andy, welcome back, man.
Thanks. Boy, they're back at it here in Washington, D.C. 6 weeks out of town, and the Republicans and Democrats are all back in the lame duck session. In the Senate, interesting day. Chuck Schumer, who is the majority leader now and will be again when the new Congress resumes, basically called out Republicans, saying they did this to themselves with harsh rhetoric, with election denying claims that voters rejected. Mitch McConnell got back, and it was as if they had never left. The same arguments that we've had for the last several years. Mitch McConnell saying it's the reason things were so close is that Democrats ignored the people. They didn't do anything about inflation, about crime, about the borders, and that Republicans are going to do everything they can to stop any policies that don't change those things. So the bickering is back despite the election results. And as we all know, the House still is undecided.
I find it remarkable that Mitch McConnell would point to the weakness of Democratic policy, as I think he would phrase it, and the dissatisfaction with the administration as being cause for things being as close as they are. In your opinion, is McConnell still frustrated with the issue of candidate quality?
I'm sure he was. I mean, he came out and said as much during the campaign. And now he's being attacked by, not surprisingly, Donald Trump, who doesn't want to take any credit or any of the blame for some of his handpicked candidates doing as poorly as they did. And he's saying, well, it's Mitch McConnell's fault, although I'm not quite sure how. Mitch McConnell had little or nothing to do with any of these campaigns.
And over in the House, a little bit of a different story, although the count as I see it right now, the balance of the House is currently 204 Democrats, 212 Republicans. It's not mathematically impossible for the Democrats to hang on to it, but it seems very unlikely, and it's way closer than, I mean, we were hearing red tsunami 8 days ago, and that's clearly not what happened here. Do you see Kevin McCarthy overcoming the hesitation of the Freedom Caucus to get that speakership?
Well, it really depends on them and how much damage they want to do themselves. If they want to keep hitting themselves on the head with a hammer. If indeed it comes down to a vote where the Freedom Caucus doesn't give him the 218 votes that he needs, and the Democrats all vote in unison and vote for Nancy Pelosi, they could get a Democratic Speaker of the House, even though they have the majority, which would be insane. But I've seen insane things happen in Washington.
Nancy Pelosi sat down with Anderson Cooper about a week ago and talked about a variety of things, including the speakership, but also that attack on her husband. And there was a lot of hedging about whether or not Nancy Pelosi would consider retirement 2 years from now, because she's not going to walk away off of a, once again, massive victory in her district. In watching the players play, there's no earthly way Nancy Pelosi is going to hand off the gavel if the Democrats can pull off the vote.
I don't think so. I think that they're going to stick with the person who brought him to the dance. Look, the Democrats did extraordinarily well, considering the fact that historically, with the party in power, is usually set to lose anywhere between 20 and I think as much as 60 or 70 seats at one point over the years. That simply didn't happen, despite the fact that the economy hasn't gone the way the Democrats wanted to go. I think abortion played a giant issue in this race for a lot of candidates, which is why you're seeing this so close in the House and as close in the Senate, where some candidates had come out very strongly against abortion and promising to make the laws even tighter. So ironically, the Republicans who got the Supreme Court that they wanted and got a decision that they wanted ended up hurting them in this particular election, according to some of the polling. That's part of it. The other part of it is this, we saw that in the Secretary of State races across the country. These are the folks who are usually charged with running the elections in those states.
Yeah.
None of the Trump-backed candidates, the election-denying candidates, won in any of those races. I think there is a very big fear, having watched January 6th and watched these false election claims over the last 2 years of the president, that a big part of this country got really tired of it and said, look, we're not going to stand for that. We want free and fair elections, and we don't want election deniers to come in and manipulate our vote. And I think that may be part of it as well.
We're talking to Andy Field, ABC News correspondent out of Washington. Andy, you've now hit on the two biggest issues that Democrats, I don't think, at least in California, did not avail themselves of. We had Prop 1, and it passed comfortably in California, and it was about the only advertising that our governor bothered to do. Gavin Newsom was not worried about losing the race to keep his job, and so Prop 1, that codification of abortion rights into the California Constitution, was where he put his energy locally. But you had that, and then you had the election denialists in this kind of dismal showing. But you also have Joe Biden with a dismal approval rating right now. Is that where the ambiguity is coming from, as we're seeing these races that are dragging and dragging and dragging? Is this hesitation voting systems not working, or is this hesitation that we're just that evenly split as a country now?
Well, I think it's clear we're pretty evenly split as a country. You look at the election map and you see wide swaths of red across the country with big pockets of blue. The difference is those big pockets of blue have way more people than those wide swaths of red. The population density is much smaller, but those wide swaths of red across the country still get 2 senators. Whether they have 4 people in the state, or they've got 4 million people.
Yeah.
And so that creates a giant imbalance, because there are many more of these Midwestern and Southern red states that will elect Republicans virtually every time, just because of the makeup of the population. And they get an equal say for, say, California, which also just gets 2 senators and has a giant population advantage, primarily more Democrat than Republican. And so there's where you see some of the imbalance in the House and the Senate. Well, not so much the House. The House is more a feature of how some of the races were gerrymandered by certain legislatures. So, there's a big divide in the U.S., but it doesn't necessarily show up in terms of population in the Senate, because there are so many red states that get 2 senators regardless.
Andy, I know that prognostication isn't necessarily in the job description, but are there any races that you're watching that you think could yet still yield a surprise for voters?
Well, I think one of the big surprises is Lauren Boebert in Colorado. She is now up, I think, by about 100 points against her challenger. It's a pretty conservative district, and it's surprising that it would be that close there. I think they're going to have a runoff election there. Her seat, that seat, could determine whether Republicans or or Democrats end up controlling the House, because I think there's like 19 seats still left to decide. So every seat makes a difference there. And in the end, Republicans or Democrats, but more than likely Republicans, are going to get the majority in the House, but it may just be by 1 or 2 seats, which will give Kevin McCarthy a big headache when it comes time to convince the Freedom Caucus to give him the votes he needs to be Speaker of the House.
So I was talking with the Fresno County Registrar of Voters, the county clerk here is James Coos, and he is very confident that that Fresno County is going to certify and have clean, clear answers when our deadline arrives on December 8th. Do you see any trouble with that? I'm thinking in particular of Arizona, but do you see any trouble with that anywhere else in the country besides obviously a runoff like in possibly Colorado and in Georgia?
I haven't seen a whole lot of legal challenges coming out. Most of the people who've lost their races have conceded. Even Doug Mastriano, the governor who lost by a lot in Pennsylvania, took him several days to finally concede the obvious. But he goes, well, I have no other choice but to concede. This is one of the top election deniers in the country. I think he was also at the rally outside the Capitol. I don't know that he actually entered the Capitol, but he was part of that crowd on January 6th. So, I mean, it doesn't get more dyed-in-the-wool election denying than that, and even he conceded his race.
The most hyperbolic of the candidates, and this seems to have played out in school board elections all around the country. You had this 1776 project that was backing, I think, 50 candidates around the country with a specific eye towards getting dyed-in-the-wool conservative candidates onto school board to begin to act as a little bit of a stopgap against what they perceive as a persistent woke agenda getting into classrooms. Is this even split indication of fatigue with the extremes in the voters?
Boy, it's really hard to determine that because there's so many different races, and every local race is different than the next. Certainly the opinion polling, although I don't have a whole lot of faith in much of the opinion polling either, seems to indicate that the big issues were abortion for many Democrats, inflation for pretty much everyone, that those are the things that they were voting on. And yet, despite the Republicans trying to paint Joe Biden as the person responsible for all that, the Democrats didn't suffer for that, because I think many people are smart enough to know that Joe Biden doesn't have a lot of control over inflation. A lot of this is just tailwinds from 2 years of a pandemic. He can't really control gas prices. He can't control the price of food. The thing that they blame Joe Biden on, and economists agree that there's some of that there in Democrats, is that American Rescue Plan that was passed right at the beginning that pumped billions of dollars back into the economy and gave people money to spend. Economists say that, that probably added to inflation, but not 8 or 9%, maybe 1 or 2%. The rest of it's all the other things that he really doesn't have much control over.
Andy, as always, I appreciate the insight, my friend. It was good to talk to you.
You too. Take care.
That is Andy Field, ABC News correspondent out of Washington. And as you hear, we aren't done yet. And that brings me back around to that. Holy smokes, this has become a marathon. After talking with James Coos here in Fresno County about the process and the desire to have people turn out and participate, I've got to wonder, is it time to stop calling it election day and start calling it election month? Not as satisfying. Now, it doesn't scratch that instant gratification. It's quite the same way, does it? It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. I'm glad you're here.
Northbound 41 at the Friant Road on-ramp, just a little north of that location, you're going to find in the center divide a couple of vehicles that met at the bumpers. Also in Squaw Valley, eastbound 180 east of Simon, got a non-injury accident there. In Madera, looks like it's Avenue 17 at Crescent where there's an injury accident. A lot of emergency personnel are on the scene there. And in Hanford, Excelsior at 14 1/4 Avenue, minor injury crash in the cleanup stages. Next update is 4:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Aw, you didn't have to go so all out for my birthday.
Yes, we did. Because birthdays are about showing your friends how much you care for them and how grateful you are for their... This is Jamie from Progressive. No, this is a great time. Progressive protects you 24/7. Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Jamie. Can you hold on one second? I gotta take this call, but remember, birthdays are about togetherness.
Contact us 24/7 on the phone, online, or on the mobile app. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms.
Going out big, staying in snug. Whatever you're up to this holiday season, Ulta Beauty has everything you need to add a little bit of shimmer and a whole lot of shine. Because our kind of holiday is you having your kind of holiday. Shop fan favorite brands like Fenty, Dyson, and Drunk Elephant. Plus so much more. Now's the time to glow your way. Go ahead and visit your local Ulta Beauty or buy online and pick up in store. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful.
This is Mike Martinez from KMJ. So you tested positive for COVID? What's next? Treat yourself. COVID treatments like Paxlovid are free. Taken by pill, these medications can stop the illness from getting serious, so treat yourself. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to find free treatment today. Again, that's 833-422-4255. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
California's #1 selling RV dealer is at it again. Best RV is clearing out all 2022 models. Come in now to receive up to 40% off. Best RV needs to make room for the new models, so everything must go. Motorhomes, toy haulers, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and tent trailers, as well as Class A, B, and C. The selection is endless at Best RV. Best RV has the lowest prices, free dealer prep, and no hidden fees and financing available. It couldn't be a better time to get down to Best RV. Check them out at 5340 Taylor Court in Turlock or online at bestrv.com.
Safety and security across Central Valley farms and ranches is a high priority. Rocky Pipkin here for the Pipkin Detective Agency. At PDA, we've developed a security management strategy to combat theft, contamination, cybercrime, injured persons, and potential litigation. All it takes is an opportunity for a breach to happen. Our team is trained to assess your facility and operations and provide you with preventative measures. If you are experiencing issues on your farm or ranch, it's time to go Pipkin. We have a variety of checkpoints that are used to protect you and your investment: security cameras, targeted lighting, security and warning signs, transport security, business computer security, and CPR certifications. PDA has the knowledge, technology, and power to gain control of your farm or ranch. Contact us for a no-cost assessment. Call Pipkin Detective Agency at 622-8889. That's 622-8889. When issues arise on your farm or ranch, it's time to go Pipkin. Serving the Valley since 1987.
Throughout your journey, you have taken care of yourself and don't expect to stop now. Stay on top of your healthcare needs and let Sante Physicians be your guide. If you're eligible, open enrollment is now available and only takes a few moments to sign up. Sante Physicians is here for your Medicare needs with more resources and locations than any other network in the Valley. Your doctor is here to provide you with the highest quality care, and you can act now by calling 559-234-1393. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Thanks again to Andy Field from ABC News for joining us earlier this hour to talk about the ongoing 2022 midterm elections. The U.S. Senate at this point appears, barring some extremely remarkable shift in the winds, it's going to remain in Democrat control. Currently, Associated Press calling it 50 in the U.S. Senate for Democrats, 49 for Republicans, with the Walker-Warnock runoff still to come in Georgia. But as it sits, even were Herschel Walker to win in Georgia, the Democrats, by virtue, of course, of Kamala Harris being the tie-breaking vote, maintain control of the Senate. Over in the House, I'm seeing a call of 204 Democrats to 212 Republicans. But as Andy Field pointed out, the closer that Republican number is to 218, the more difficulty that would-be Speaker Congressman Kevin McCarthy is going to have getting the Freedom Caucus to jump on board. He's going to have to meet them where they live, and I don't know if if Kevin McCarthy can make the promises that they might want to extract in order to get that speakership. So, of course, we will continue to report on this. One of the big high-profile and definitely soon-to-be contested races is still Katie Hobbs versus Kari Lake for the governor of Arizona. And at this point, the count more or less sits where we left it on Friday, with Katie Hobbs at 50.5%. Of course, that leaves Kari Lake with 49.5%. That is a difference of, hang on, carry the two, about 30,000 votes. 30,000 votes is a nice, comfortable gap, but it's the fact that it's a single percentage point that you may see. I have no doubt that there's going to have to be a manual recount on this. I just don't see Kari Lake, after everything that she has had to say up to this point, conceding a race that is so close on percentage points. Even again, if there's an actual 20,000 votes that separate the two. Arizona has gotten really nuts. And I'm grateful that Fresno County has kind of kept its wits about us. We're seeing people that are asking questions. We're seeing people that have concerns. There's a lot of people who have volunteered to go down and stand as poll watchers, as election watchers. And our registrar of voters has been extremely open and available to answer questions, and whenever possible to provide access to anybody who cares to ask for it. In Arizona, there is a protest. It's about 100 people, but they're stationed outside of the Maricopa County Tabulation and Elections Center, which is already under incredible scrutiny and has kind of outsized security relative to what we think of in terms of an elections office. And it's getting weird out there, man. One protester, and I'm quoting directly here, says, "I want all of you to say a prayer right now. There's a bunch of people who were here with us 2 years ago who are right now in the D.C. gulag being tortured." And that's not me exaggerating what the protesters saying. That's exactly what some of these guys are representing. Take a listen to this audio from outside the Maricopa Elections Building in Arizona.
because there's a bunch of people who were here with us 2 years ago who are right now in the D.C. gulag being tortured. A whole bunch of people are being tortured in cages in D.C. right now who were here with us 2 years ago. So everybody say a prayer for those innocent people being tortured.
Guess what? Then we can have free and fair elections again in the state of Arizona.
We the people are requesting military step in and redo our election. It was fake and false. Our government is full of corrupt people.
One of the other things that I thought was interesting about that video, and you might have just caught the very tail end of it, but there's a handful of people walking around blowing shofars. And if you don't know what that is the horn made of a ram's horn, most typically associated with biblical times and Judaism. And I think the shofar is still used ceremonially in some Jewish observations, but I don't know for sure. So please forgive me if I'm mistaken. It's a war horn. It's a war horn. It's a biblical cry to or call to arms. I want our elections to be run honestly. I want our votes to be counted accurately. I want to know that the people who have their hand on the wheel of this apparatus are both scrupulous and diligent. And again, that's why I'm very, very grateful that we have the situation that we do here in Fresno County. Do these people in Arizona strike you as over the top? Does it strike you as unhinged, or does it sound to you like people who are in possession of information that I am not, that are looking for some kind of cure, some kind of relief for a legitimate wrong? Because I know that we're going to have races that are very, very close. I know that we are going to have recounts and contested elections. Thank you, David, by the way. He's confirming that the shofar is used for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I appreciate that. I'm just ignorant of the circumstances. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I was raised Catholic. We didn't see the shofar. We had men in cassocks waving around incense. Anyways, I'm very curious. When you hear that audio from Arizona, does it make you proud? Does it make you worried? Does it make you fearful? Does it strike you as a reasonable reaction to an unreasonable situation, or maybe exactly the opposite of that? Take your calls on the other side, 490-5858. Right now, news time with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. 2 people now dead, another in serious condition after a crash this morning in Fresno County. CHP were called out to South Cam and West Jamison Avenues at about 7 this morning. They say the big rig driver ran the stop sign, hitting a Toyota Camry traveling east on Cam Avenue. The driver of the Camry died at the scene. Both people in the big rig ejected. One pronounced dead at the scene. The other person flown to the hospital in serious condition. The crash scene was being treated as a hazmat situation due to a diesel fluid leak. They're investigating. Frightening school bus crash in Kentucky. ABC's Derek Dennis has more.
18 students and the driver, everyone on board, injured in this early morning school bus crash in Magoffin County, east of Lexington. The bus going down an embankment off Kentucky Route 40, landing on its side, forcing rescue crews to lift the victims up using ropes and baskets. Still, school superintendent Chris Meadows says they're lucky.
Because we don't have fatalities to report at this time, you're thankful.
School buses in the district do not have seat belts, and authorities say they'd have to consult state guidelines before installing them. The injured students range from elementary to high school with minor to critical injuries. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Now, the forecast from Fox 26's Jim Della Vega.
Today's high will be 61 degrees. Sunny, a little bit of a southwest wind at 5 miles per hour, but that's going to be calming down into the evening hours. Tonight's low will be just 38 degrees. Fog is in the forecast for late night and early morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim Della Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, northbound 41, just north of the Bryant on-ramp, there is a 9-inch accident. Vehicles are in the center divide, and traffic's moving along pretty well there, except for the looky-loos. In Madera Avenue 17 at Crescent, a minor injury accident there. And Visalia, eastbound 198 Acres on the on-ramp, got a collision with injuries being reported as well. Next update is 4:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
In my 35 years here at KMJ, one of the most successful endorsement campaigns I ever did, like 15, 20 years ago, was with a company called the Noble Truck Accessory Center. Oh, you remember them. I was going through my Jeep phase at the time, and no, they're not a four-wheel drive kind of place, but they helped out. It was beautiful, and guess what? I just bought another Jeep. But listen to me when I say, we love our trucks in the state of California, and the showrooms at either location of the Noble Truck Accessory Center will give you so much in the way of ideas to make your truck all yours and nobody else's. But there's no way that your truck is complete without one of the many products from Truck Covers USA. These covers are untouchable for work, play, and purpose, like on the job, babe. Take a look at their signature product, the American Roll Cover. Their covers protect cargo from theft and weather. And the Noble Truck Accessory Center has got them. All of them from Truck Covers USA. Ray Appleton and the Noble Truck Accessory Center's back together again. Blackstone and Sierra are out at Sunnyside. Click it. NobleTruck.com.
Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME. 12011 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney advertising.
Every holiday season, it's the same dilemma. Where's the Christmas tree? Where did I store those outdoor lights? The ornaments. Which box are they in? How much wrapping paper do I have? And where do I hide the gifts from the kids? Because if I put them under the tree, they'll be unwrapped by tomorrow. This is Christina Musan. Luckily, I don't have this problem. And you probably know why. Closets by Design. You tell them, I want more storage, and they give you more storage. And it's not just closets. Your pantry, office, and garage too. You show them where you need organization, and like Santa, they deliver. Right now, Closets by Design is offering 40% off, plus an additional 15% off, and 18 months interest-free financing. It's the best deal of the year. Be dilemma-free and give Closets by Design a call. 453-7034. That's 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine your home beautifully organized.
Sun facts. Did you know that California raises their utility rates 5 times more often than any other state?
That's why I've chosen to live off-grid.
Like you have a choice, son. Call Solar Negotiators today at 844-OWN-SOLAR.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
This report is sponsored by SaveOurWater.com. California is in its 3rd year of severe drought. Now more than ever, we need to save water. You can help by limiting your outdoor water use and switching to low-water plants. For water-saving tips, visit SaveOurWater.com. Save water. Save California.
Teresi. Streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Rolling up on 440 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you being here. If you're noticing a certain absence in the room, we'll address that here in a couple of minutes, but it is all good. A surprising complaint filed by the Fresno County Democratic Party based on comments made by Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer at a November 3rd Fresno City Council meeting and a subsequent press conference. Mayor Dyer, and I don't have the audio in front of me, but it is claimed that Mayor Dyer said that he had spoken to all of the Fresno County supervisors and that all of the supervisors had agreed to support a study on whether to replace PG&E with a municipal utility. Now, this goes back to that concern that PG&E is price gouging customers, not providing a level of service that is appropriate to the prices that they are charging, and that they're dragging their feet on hooking up new subdivisions, commercial projects, and educational buildings. PG&E, by the way, blaming all that on transformer shortages. Now, according to this complaint by the Fresno County Democratic Party, the Fresno County Democratic Party claims Dyer acted as the hub-spoke actor in a so-called serial meeting with the supervisors, which would be, if true, a violation of the Brown Act. The County of Fresno has said in their news release that the claim from the Fresno County Democratic Party is inaccurate and completely without merit. Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Brian Pacheco, says, quote, "I welcome any review of these false accusations. My attendance and statement at the press conference was focused on highlighting community concerns about PG&E. The county goes on to say there was no discussion among board members regarding any county action or business. No action was taken on any item. Now, Nancy Price from GV Wire reached out to Ruben Zarate, currently the chairman of the Fresno County Democratic Party, who was not available for comment, surprise. But Nancy reports that supervisors are allowed under the Brown Act to appear at ceremonial or announcement events where no such discussions occur. There is an exemption in the Brown Act specifically for this. The attendance of a majority of the members of a legislative body at a conference or similar gathering open to the public that involves a discussion of issues of general interest of the type represented by the legislative body, provided that a majority of the members do not discuss among themselves, other than as part of the scheduled program, business of a specified nature that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the local agency, the supervisors are allowed to appear in public at these events. A prosecutor in the Fresno County District Attorney's Public Integrity Unit received the complaint and said that it would be handled like every other complaint. I'm very curious to see if this thing has any wheels. There has been criticism that the Fresno County District Attorney's Public Integrity Unit does not play ball quite as hard against Republicans as it does against Democrats. I don't think that that's accurate. That has not been my observation. And it seems like the level of scrutiny and simply the amount of news coverage would make that a very difficult agenda to enforce. I think that it is much more likely that you are once again seeing the Fresno County Democratic Party taking a swipe at the Fresno County Board of Supervisors because the Fresno County Board of Supervisors doesn't align with their priorities. Don't forget, this is the same party that helped Joaquin Arambula get elected. And Assemblymember Arambula was the one who shoehorned through the California legislature and got signed by Gavin Newsom this law that takes redistricting authority away from the County Board of Supervisors, folks that you and I and everybody else in Fresno County gets a stake in electing. Takes that redistricting authority away from the people that we elected and transfers it to a yet-to-be-created appointed body. And depending upon which member of the body, the mechanism for their appointment may or may not have anything to do with the will of the public. It's an interesting bit of politicking, of tradecraft. And I wonder, because I know that if you go and you make a false claim against somebody, if I call the Fresno Police Department and I file a police report that I got rear-ended in the parking lot by Josh, and Josh didn't rear-end me in the parking lot, and in fact, my car is not damaged, and there's video that shows that Josh's car never even went past my car, I can be prosecuted for filing a false police report. It's a crime. I don't believe that I have ever heard of a politician or a political entity being prosecuted for one of these frivolous or contrived complaints going to a public integrity unit or the Fair Political Practices Commission or any of those things. And every year, you see somebody get jammed up with the FPPC because of like minor bookkeeping issues. Now, I'm not making an argument that people who have issues with bookkeeping should not be called out on it, or that people who don't follow the law shouldn't be held accountable for that. But every year there's at least one or two complaints that it doesn't lead anywhere. It's a matter of an oversight or an inexperienced staffer or a late filing. The reasons why the FPPC doesn't take it anywhere, or the Public Integrity Unit doesn't take it anywhere, is because it was either a non-issue, a minor issue, or a completely made-up issue that was corrected or investigated and found not to have substance. If I can get into legal trouble for lying about my coworker hitting my car in the parking lot, again, not even filing an insurance claim, we're not even going off into that neck of the woods. I'm just talking about, I call FPD and say, yeah, I work with this guy, Josh, and he backed into my car on his way out of the office today. I want to file a report. And after review, it's found that I lied about it. I might not get jail time. I'm probably going to spend a week washing buses or picking up trash somewhere. I understand that you can't drag the entirety of the Fresno County Democratic Central Committee down to the bus depot or out to Roding Park. I'm curious to know if there is a mechanism for dealing with bad faith political complaints. Because no disrespect to Nancy over at GV Wire, but the allowance under the Brown Act that she cites in this article seems to me to be something that would be, for anybody who's familiar with researching law, researching political standards, this seems to me to be a fairly straightforward bit of information to have encountered. Now, Nancy's a journalist and a specialist in research. But it seems like if you're the head of a county's Democratic Party, you would have some familiarity with what it is that you're registering a complaint about. Can you make a complaint about making a complaint? It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you hanging out.
Heading to Visalia right now, eastbound 198 at Acres on the on-ramp there. A collision is reported and some road blockage as well. Madera Avenue 17 at Crescent. Minor injury accident there being reported northbound 41 just north of Friant. And it's the Friant on-ramp, northbound 41 to be exact. They got a non-injury accident in the center divide. Our next update is at 5:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
By now, you've heard the news. Vaccine boosters are available for eligible Californians. Boosters support stronger immunity and help maximize protection against COVID-19 and its variants. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find out if you're eligible and to find a booster near you. That's myturn.ca.gov. Stay healthy and strong. Get boosted. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hi, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Ben. Choosing the best mattress can be difficult, but one company has made it easy: Clovis Mattress. We've created a simple lineup of mattresses to suit all budgets and, more importantly, all sleeping styles.
But the best part is, all our mattresses are made right here in the Central Valley. We still use traditional techniques and the finest materials, but now every mattress we sell directly benefits the local community.
But that's not the only difference. At Clovis Mattress, we are open by appointment only. Why? Because we want every customer to get the royal treatment, so we can guide you through our amazing collection with no hard sell, no distractions, just the right information to help you find your perfect mattress.
So call Clovis Mattress today, 559-500-2222, or visit clovismattress.com. Again, that's clovismattress.com to book your appointment and secure free delivery from now until January 2023.
Buy local, support local at Clovis Mattress.
Sometimes the grass really is greener when you live on the green. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and our highly anticipated gated community at Clubview is finally here. Located along the first hole of the beautiful Copper River Country Club, these lots have some of the best views of the course and iconic clubhouse, with new plans and elevations to fit your lifestyle. You can be near it all, but far from ordinary.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License Number 847905.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
The most streamed station in the Valley. PCs, phones, smart speakers, and KMJNow.com.
Accelerating towards 5 o'clock on a Monday afternoon at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. I'm glad you're here. A couple of folks checking in on Twitter at DriveKMJ. And two on the story of climbers taking issue with the claim that an 8-year-old climbed El Capitan because he used pre-seeded lines and was doing something called jugging, which is clip onto the line. You got a harness that will allow you to go up but not fall any great length. And they're saying it doesn't count. I think there's a little, I understand, and if we were talking about a grown man, if we were talking about, 6 feet tall, I don't care if you're 18 or 58, I'd say, all right, maybe call him out a little bit. If you want to gatekeep that hard, fine. If you haven't climbed El Capitan, there's a part of me that questions exactly how hard you're splitting these hairs. Charlotte says that the term jugging is accurate, then calls it David Lee Roth style. I don't know what that means, but jugging doesn't exist anymore. It is now David Lee Roth style. And she also says that she fully expects that 8-year-old Sam will climb El Capitan when he gets a little bit older. El Spicolio checking in as well. He says, as far as the climbing community goes, never take the opinion of someone who lives in a van seriously. I'm not a part of the community, but I like the sound of that. And again, from El Spicolio, he says that a vote for Kari Lake is a vote for QAnon. And this goes back to the excitement in Arizona. Protesters describing folks who had been arrested for participation in the Capitol riots as hostages and describing them as being tortured in a gulag in D.C. And Spicolio says, true the vote, the organization that was the basis for Dinesh D'Souza's 2000 Mules film had a huge hand in the Kari Lake campaign. Their followers on Truth Social are mostly QAnon and J6ers. I appreciate you spending time on Truth Social to learn that so that I didn't have to. I can't pretend that I'm surprised by that. I think that once you get past a certain level in the complaint, because look, I want our elections to be fair. I want our elections to be accurate. I want our elections to be conducted in a timely fashion with an understanding that the way we're doing it right now is not going to yield a satisfying conclusion at 9 p.m. on Election Day. It's still a drag that it takes as long as it does, but these people are working hard. And if you missed our conversation with the Fresno County Registrar of Voters earlier today, you'll be able to get that in the podcast section this afternoon at kmjnow.com. But when you start describing people who are being held to account for unlawful behavior as hostages and people who are being incarcerated in an American prison with food, with toilets, with the amenities that we provide for those who are facing their turn in the chute of the justice system as being tortured. To be perfectly honest, it causes me to tune out a little bit. I don't take it as seriously as maybe I should. And maybe it is incumbent upon people who do what I do to get off our butts, buy the plane ticket. Can I expense that? Buy the plane ticket, fly to D.C., and arrange a meeting to see what the conditions really are. But that Kari Lake is being backed by QAnon folks doesn't... I want to pretend that I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm not. Okay. When we get back, we've got a local girl who is absolutely killing it on the NBC singing show The Voice. Her name is Alyssa Witrado. And if you've been following her and you'd like to kind of be a part of a thing, there's a watch party going on tonight. Her folks are 100% behind her. We'll tell you about where you can go to participate in that. Also, hospitals around the state of California setting up tents in the parking lot, not for COVID. We'll explain more of that when we get back on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Clean Clean and healthy water is essential. To live your best life, get a LifeSource whole house water system. LifeSource removes bad stuff like chlorine and keeps the good stuff like healthy minerals. You'll look and feel your best with softer skin and hair. Love your water, love your life. And a LifeSource system is maintenance-free. They install it, you forget it. For a free consultation, call 559-330-1850 or visit lifesourcewater.com. That's 559-330-1850. Tap into your best life. LifeSource. Taste and feel the difference.
When we transferred to Personal Express Insurance, we actually saved over $400 and for better coverage.
Since 1984, Personal Express Insurance has been known throughout the Central Valley for their great rates. But their customers come with them and stay with them for what they like to call their local advantage.
I would have been happy just breaking out even because of the personal and the local advantage. But when we saved money, that was impressive. We like that.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Peralta, President of Personal Express Insurance. In these uncertain times, we want to assure you that our local agents are available to discuss your insurance needs. Everyone, please stay safe and stay healthy.
Call 559-256-1090. With offices in Fresno, in the Fig Garden Village, in Clovis in the Buchanan Crossroads, and in Visalia in the Visalia Pavilion. Or go to expressinsurance.com for a fast, free quote.
Would we recommend Personal Express Insurance? Absolutely.
Hello, this is Guy Adams from the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch, letting you know that we're having our first fundraiser since 2019. We'd love for you to join us November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building, and we're going to feature Sonny Coelho and his amazing band. It's going to be a great night of dancing. Tickets are $50 per, $400 for a table. Doors open at 5:30. Let me tell you what we are. We are a ranch that works with medically fragile children here in the Central Valley. We've seen shooting victims get out of their wheelchairs, first words, first steps. We're blessed to see some amazing things, and with the help of the Central Valley, we're always blessed to be able to do this. Tickets can be bought at heartofthehorse.org. Heartofthehorse.org is where you can get your tickets. Once again, it's Friday, November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building. We're going to have some amazing silent auction items. If you'd like to donate a silent auction item, just go to heartofthehorse.org, or if you'd like to be a sponsor or make a donation, once again, heartofthehorse.org.
Going halfway isn't the best way. For instance, would you give your child half a bike helmet?
You sure this is safe?
Or go out in a storm with half an umbrella?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Would you settle for half a haircut?
I don't think we're done.
Don't go halfway, especially with your immunity to COVID-19. Stay up to date with your vaccines and boosters. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find one near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Well, officials identifying two people shot to death in Fresno over the weekend. Angelique Edwards and Richard Spruill shot multiple times sitting in a truck on Fedora Avenue Saturday night. Police not sure what motivated someone to open fire on the two victims. They were both in their 40s. Investigators working to determine what happened. Anyone with information, please contact local authorities. Visalia police are looking for a suspect after that person attempted to steal a car with a baby still inside. Authorities said the incident happened at Mary's Vineyard Shopping Center at Noble Avenue Friday. Police able to find the car quickly with the baby inside. Good news, unharmed. Suspect facing auto theft and kidnapping charges. California's Department of Public Health reports the first death in a child under 5 due to the flu and respiratory virus known as RSV. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
Health Director Dr. Tomas Aragon is urging parents and guardians to vaccinate their children as soon as possible against the flu and COVID-19. His same advice for COVID works for RSV. Wear a mask to protect yourself and others. Ventilate or filter air. Wash hands and cover coughs, and stay home if sick. He says flu activity soars in California as respiratory illnesses threaten hospitals. According to the CDC, this season across the U.S., there's been an estimated 2.8 million flu cases, 23,000 hospitalizations, and 1,300 deaths. 3 children have died reportedly this week. That makes 5 so far this season. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Tulare County Sheriff's Department officials said a 2-day operation this past weekend ended with over 45 suspects arrested. Deputies conducted the multi-agency operation last Thursday and Friday. They also served over 55 arrest warrants, seized 5 guns, and seized over 10 pounds of illegal drugs. A California college student among those getting help from the beef industry to pursue an ag career. KMJ Ag Director Don York has more.
Certified Beef Angus is awarding a record $70,000 in scholarships to 20 students across the country. Those students are pursuing careers at the ranch, in meat science, in a research lab, or supporting agricultural business and marketing efforts. Among the recipients, Claire Stevenson at Cal Poly. This scholarship fund recognizes students for the commitment and energy they bring to agriculture, their education, and their community involvement. The fund has supported a total of 121 recipients through $418,000 in scholarships over the past few years. Don York, KMJ News.
Now, the forecast from Fox 26's Jim Della Vega.
Today's high will be 61 degrees. Sunny, a little bit of a southwest wind at 5 miles per hour, but that's going to be calming down into the evening hours. Tonight's low will be just 38 degrees. Fog is in the forecast for late night and early morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim Della Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
For those of you traveling on Highway 41 near Friant, that whole area is now clear. They got the cars out of the center divide, and things are pretty much back to normal. Madera Avenue 17 at Crescent, they're still dealing with a minor injury accident. Visalia eastbound 198 at Acres on the on-ramp there, they have a collision. And Squaw Valley, State Route 180 at Simon, non-injury accident involving a van. But right now the roadway is shut down because they're trying to retrieve the vehicle that went off the embankment. So I don't know how long it's going to be closed, but we'll keep you up on that one as well. Next update, 517. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This hour of KMJ's Afternoon Drive is brought to you by A&E Pressure Washers. Sales and service for anything and everything on your wash pad.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
5:05. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to hour number 4 of your afternoon drive. The phone numbers remain 490-5858. Toll free. You can join us at 800-776-5858. Follow the program on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drive KMJ and watch it live on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv. Also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon as we present your trending topics. At 5 o'clock, a University of Virginia student is suspected of fatally shooting 3 people and wounding 2 others. UVA President Jim Ryan says shots were fired in the Culbreth Garage Sunday around 10:30 p.m. And subsequently, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. was arrested in connection with that shooting. He is now facing 3 counts of second-degree murder. Former Fresno City Councilman and Clovis Unified School District Trustee, Area 1-elect Clint Olivier joins the show to discuss his win in the election and how he plans to take on that role. Plus, we discussed the 2022 midterm elections, the turnout, and ways that voting might be improved going forward. After that, Fresno County Clerk, Registrar of Voters, James Coos called in to talk about the midterm elections, the success in Fresno of a safe and secure and accurate election, and his opinion about mail-in versus in-person voting and rolling back the clock on the way that we conduct elections in the state of California. ABC News correspondent Andy Field joined the show to share his take on the election and what's going on with both the Senate and the House. Following the victory of Senator Catherine Cortez Masto in Nevada, Democrats are celebrating retaining control of the Senate, while control of the House does still lean Republican.
but the majority looks to be slim as divisions arise within the party. In Maricopa County, Arizona, protesters at an election office demanded that the military step in and redo the election. It was unclear if they were talking about 2020 or 2022, but many in the group echoed President Trump's claim that he lost the 2020 election due to voter fraud. A protester also claimed that January 6th rioters are being tortured in cages in the D.C. jail. The Fresno County Democratic Party filed a complaint based on comments made by Mayor Jerry Dyer at a November 3rd Fresno City Council meeting. The Fresno County Board of Supervisors on Friday issued a statement denying that supervisors violated the Brown Act when they attended a news conference to discuss community concerns about PG&E, and a Colorado Springs father has stirred up a backlash amongst rock climbers after claiming his 8-year-old son became the first person to climb El Capitan in Yosemite National Park after employing a technique some are calling jugging, but we're calling the David Lee Roth method. That is your trending topics at 5 o'clock for those stories and those interviews. You can subscribe to the Afternoon Drive podcast with Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you want to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive or head over to kmjnow.com. Not only will you find us, you'll find all kinds of great content from the rest of the KMJ team. 5:09 now on KMJ. Again, I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you being here. Phone's open for your calls, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. And this is such a cool thing. It's a cool thing for this kid, and it's a cool thing for Fresno. A young lady named Alyssa Witrado is on the NBC singing competition, The Voice. She is a 19-year-old from right here in town. She earned her spot during blind auditions back in September. But before that, apparently she had performed on stage less than a dozen times. She's still in it, man. She has won her battle round. She survived last Monday night's knockout round, and she is currently in the top 16. So head-to-head matchups begin tonight, winners now being determined by voting from the TV audience. And if you want to support this kid, if you want to see the family and just absorb the enthusiasm for this young lady, tonight, starting at 8 o'clock, there's going to be a watch party at Lucy's Lounge. Now, this is a 21-up joint, 733 East Olive Avenue, Lucy's Lounge. But a bunch of folks are getting together to watch the performances, cheer this kid on. And if you want to vote for this excellent example of what's going on here in Fresno, you can vote on the NBC website. You can also get the Voice app, and they'll let you vote on that as well. I just think this is really cool. We're working on getting this kid on the phone. We may end up talking with her folks, which would also be cool. But what a fantastic example of our town just getting out into the world and doing something positive. And she's got a killer voice. I'll grab some stuff when she performs tonight and share it with you guys later on this week. But her coach apparently is Gwen Stefani, so she's getting... It's got to be the experience of a lifetime. I've never done a competition show. My appearances on TV, pretty much, it's been Sunday Morning Matters with Alexan Balakian and accidentally appearing in the background of a handful of news reports. I think this is a really cool thing, and I love that her parents are just so present for this. A lot of times you get the big sob story and the violin music, and everything's very, very dramatic. And in this case, it's just a cute kid kicking butt and making our town look good. So if you want to be a part of it, again, the watch party is tonight, starts at 8 o'clock, Lucy's Lounge out in the Tower District, and Lucy's Lounge is a 21-plus venue. So if you're younger than that, sorry, you're going to have to watch at home. So I saw this pop up over the weekend, the Associated Press reporting that we've got hospitals in Southern California starting to put their overflow tents back up. This is not a COVID thing. This is a flu thing. It's other respiratory illnesses. San Diego Union Tribune reported on Friday that the Scripps Memorial Hospital in Encinitas, the Jacobs Medical Center at UC San Diego in La Jolla, and Sharp Grossmont Hospital in La Mesa have all started deploying these overflow tents. And they say that it's primarily flu symptoms. About 9% of emergency room patients in San Diego County had flu symptoms last week. That was up from 7% 2 weeks ago. The Scripps Hospital and the Associated Doctors reported almost 1,700 positive flu tests from the 1st of September compared to 471 in the same time period last year. At this point, it's not clear if it's flu cases making for an earlier than usual peak or if we are going to be muddling through a prolonged flu season. Now, I would never suggest that we bring back mandatory masking. I will absolutely be the first to advocate that we bring back social distancing. Of all the hygiene theater that we endured through the pandemic, the social distancing element, I have to admit, was one of my favorites. Now, I'm not saying that we restrict capacity at grocery stores or anywhere. 6 feet of distance, just let's stay arm's length away from each other. I am all for it. And I got my flu shot. And by the way, I know there's a lot of folks out there who've got strong feelings about vaccinations and the flu shot and COVID boosters and all that. I personally have chosen to take the COVID booster. I got the Omicron booster a few months ago. I also got the flu shot. I'm married to a school teacher. I got a kid in high school. I want to be able to show up and hang out with you guys. So I got my shots. I believe that it is going to give me a better chance of getting through this winter with a minimum of fallout. I might be ready to suggest that you get one shot 1 week and another shot a week or two later, though. Because I got both shots on the same night. I think I got the COVID booster in my right arm and the flu shot in my left arm. I guess it doesn't really matter. But I got them both in one night. And I intentionally scheduled my appointment for a Friday night. Because what do we know about the flu shot? You're always going to feel dreadful the next day. What do we know about the COVID boosters? If it's working, you're probably not going to feel amazing the next day. Absolutely get both of them. Don't get them both at the same time. I'm not a sickly person. Almost every time you guys have heard me take a sick day since the Saturday show started in 2014. Which, by the way, I think the anniversary of that's like the middle of this week. Since the Saturday show started in 2014, I think that I have taken 3 sick days because I didn't feel good. I've taken sick days like to take my kid to the doctor or so I can make it to doctor's appointments, that kind of thing. But I don't get sick a lot. I'm fortunate that I've got a pretty robust system. Holy Moses. I'm not sorry I got both the shots. I am sorry that I got them both at the same time. If you're going to do them both at once, load up on your NyQuil, load up on your preferred fever reducer, and just plan on having a long weekend of sitting in the recliner feeling like you got hit by a truck. I had not felt that bad in a long time. And of course, 2 days later, I felt fine. I came back to work, all was well. But while I would advocate for going ahead and getting that, both the booster and the flu shot, I don't think that I would say get them both at once. But if they're putting tents up in San Diego because of how severe this flu season is, I would seriously consider the flu shot, because a day of feeling bad and hanging out on the couch watching Price is Right sounds like a lot better deal than sitting in a tent in a parking lot because you're too gross to go inside. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Philip Teresi hanging out on hour 4 of your afternoon drive. Speaking of doctors and medical information, and by the way, I'm not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from me. Talk to your physician. Don't make decisions based on things that stupid disc jockeys say. But when we get back, we're going to talk about America's frontline doctors and the controversy over one of the principals behind that group, Dr. Simone Gold. There's some funny business going on. I'm curious to hear what you think about it. That's on the way on KMJ.
This is coming in Minkler on Frankwood Avenue, kind of near the Sherwood Forest Golf Club. A tree is down in the roadway causing some blockage, and I don't have a lot of details as to whether there's crews on the scene, but we'll find out. Also, I'm glad to report that northbound 41 by the Friant off-ramp is now back open. The cars are gone. Traffic is moving along fine. It really wasn't that much of a problem, other than the fact there's a lot of cars getting off Friant right now. Eastbound 198 at Acres, that would be in Visalia. There is a non-injury accident. Squaw Valley on State Route 180 at Simon. Non-injury accident there involving a van off the freeway. Nobody was injured, but the roadway now is shut down while they retrieve that vehicle. So if you're going to be anywhere near that area, don't be. Next update, 5:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
As a California grower, you understand the fight against salts in your soil. If your crops are affected by salts, you need Retrosol. It's a unique bionutritional product designed to improve crop health on saline soils. Retrosol by Valagro helps flush out harmful salts, improving soil structure and plant health. To learn more, come see us in booth 1934 at the Almond Conference. Go to valagrousa.com or call 559-287-7724. Retrosol, protecting crops from high salt stress.
Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME. 12011 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney advertising.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Get off the endless debt treadmill and start saving money each month. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and even timeshares. Call now at 800-208-1312 for free information. For over 15 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to get your debt resolved for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-208-1312. That's 800-208-1312. 800-208-1312.
522 on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad you're here. Thanks to the shout out from the guys over at Commercial Tire. Appreciate you tuning in this afternoon. Numbers here are 490-5858 or 800-776-5858 if you want to join the conversation. We got a little time left to play. I was a little bit surprised by this, I have to admit. America's Frontline Doctors has been they've been a little bit of a lightning rod. This is the group that held the so-called White Coat Summit during the pandemic and have been pretty faithfully making ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine available to anybody who cares to engage their services. Now, I've got my opinion about the efficacy of those two concoctions in terms of treating the coronavirus, but if it works, it works. If it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. And like I said before, I'm not a doctor. However, there is no denying they've been controversial, and they have at times pushed back against what was otherwise treated as conventional wisdom. Things are spiraling at America's Frontline Doctors. The founder, Dr. Simone Gold, is now the subject of a lot of scrutiny about spending by the organization and her own arrangements therein, first as founder and employee and board member, later as consultant and independent contractor. Internal emails show the accountants from America's Frontline Doctors worrying about who might still have access to the $7 million currently sitting in their bank accounts. For months now, America's Frontline Doctors has been split between the board and Dr. Gold. The split comes from an internal audit looking at Dr. Gold's personal spending. Now, back on November 5th, the board filed suit against Gold to try and force her to stop representing the organization. Now it looks like that lawsuit could determine the fate of the group outright. The folks who are angry at Gold say that she was burning through money like nobody's business, and she was using America Frontline Doctor money, not Dr. Gold money. Allegations say that purchases made by Dr. Gold include $100,000 spent on a single private jet trip and $50,000 a month being written off for Dr. Gold's personal expenses. And then there's the house. America's Frontline Doctors bought a $3.6 million mansion in Naples, Florida. No surprise here, that's where Dr. Gold lives with her boyfriend. Dr. Gold is not backing down. She has been firing off emails to board members, and in discussing this publicly, is describing herself as the group's rainmaker and as an avenging lioness in regard to the America Frontline Doctors organization pushing her out. Former Arizona Sheriff Richard Mack describes it this way, quote, "It's really a mess, and I'm really sorry that it's come to this." And if you haven't had the pleasure of listening to Sheriff Mack speak, this is a pretty even-keeled cat. He's very, very conservative. He's very, very level-headed. Out of the Tea Party movement, he was one of my favorite people to have met. The man brings gravitas. Now we're finding out that employees of America's Frontline Doctors can't even get into their email. Apparently, allegedly, Dr. Gold retained access to the email server and cut it all off at some point. She's also got access to and control of the website, and we'll get to that in a minute. But staffers from America's Frontline Doctors are now kind of reduced to canceling fans of the organization's donations, just simply not allowing more money to come in and discouraging people from throwing fuel on the money fire. Amanda Kaiser Johnson is an America Frontline Doctor employee. She was locked out of her email account during the feud between Gold and the board. One of the factions has accused her of being a spy, and her quote was, "None of us really know what's going on, and we pretty much lost the ability to do our jobs." Gold is not responding to requests from the media. The board of directors for America's Frontline Doctors, their board is now referring media requests to the lawsuit and a publicly posted press release. This is a surprise to me, because I thought, I really believed, even if I disagreed with them on some of the positions that they staked out, I really believed that this was a matter of principle, that it was a group that was focused on individual liberty and patient-doctor privilege, not money. America's Frontline Doctors has taken in at least $10 million just in donations. Millions more dollars have been generated by facilitating prescription requests for hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. Some of the trouble started when Dr. Gold and her significant other entered the Capitol building during the January 6th riot. And as a consequence of that, she was eventually sentenced to, I think, 2 months. And the accusation was that not only did she enter the Capitol, but she stood by as a police officer was attacked by rioters and did not intervene to help him, either by deterring the rioters or by rendering medical aid after the assault had ended. Now, there's a little bit more on this, but again, I've got to say, while I disagreed with them about several points, I had thought of this group as being a group that was staked in principle, that was made up of folks who were taking a stand for what they believed to be right. And we're seeing real quick here that it looks like the corruption of the almighty buck may have played a huge role in what will ultimately be the demise of the organization, formerly known as America's Frontline Doctors. More on this coming up in a minute. Right now, an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. An injured 10-year-old child helped to lead rescuers to her mother's crashed car. This happened Sunday night in Visalia. The 10-year-old walked over a half mile to the gas station at about 10 at night to tell somebody her mom had been drinking and had crashed her SUV. She told people at the gas station the car was on the railroad tracks and her mother still inside and hurt. Police were able to find that woman in the SUV near Goshen Avenue and Kelsey Street. They say the SUV had rolled over after losing control due to high driving speeds. Visalia Fire able to safely remove the woman from the car. She was flown to the hospital to be treated for serious injuries. The daughter also taken to the hospital by ambulance to be treated for minor injuries. And a teenager saves his grandmother from a home after it catches fire yesterday morning in East Fresno.
Fresno Fire says several family members live in 3 homes adjacent to one another. One man witnessed smoke coming out of the house next door. That house was his grandmother's home. The 18-year-old grandson then went to check on everyone in the burning home. There, the grandson says he found his grandmother on the couch and decided he needed to act fast. Fire officials say his selfless actions saved his grandmother's life.
The fire was so intense and spread so fast, I'm not sure we would have been able to make a rescue as fast as it was moved. His efforts absolutely saved a life.
Chief Fernandez says in about a minute and a half, about 100 feet of the home was on fire. 4 adults lived in that house. Everyone, including the family pet, made it out safely. The cause of the fire remains unknown.
Now, the forecast from Fox 26's Jim Della Vega.
Today's high will be 61 degrees. Sunny, a little bit of a southwest wind at 5 miles per hour, but that's going to be calming down into the evening hours. Tonight's low will be just 38 degrees. Fog is in the forecast for late night and early morning. For KMJ, I'm Jim Della Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Lots still going on the roadways, that's for sure. And we start off in Los Banos, Pioneer Road, State Route 165, non-injury accident there. Then to Chowchilla, southbound 99 at Robertson Boulevard, there is a hazard being reported. Then we go to Squaw Valley, State Route 180 at Simon. Non-injury accident there, but the roadway is closed while we retrieved the van that went over the side. So there's no determination as to when that road is going to be open, but we're watching closely. In Fresno, southbound 99 just north of North, right there at the off-ramp, got a collision, possible injuries being reported. Next update, 547. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
COVID vaccines just got a big update because updated vaccines now protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron, and everyone 5 and older can get one.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Okay, I'll count down and then you jump.
Got it.
Let me just grab your parachute.
Some accidents are your fault. For injuries that are not, contact the award-winning personal injury attorneys at Injured.com. Their tailored approach will find the best strategy for your case and situation. They will build a powerhouse legal team around your case that will relentlessly pursue justice and maximum financial compensation for you.
Gotcha. Thanks.
You'll always land safely with the experienced attorneys at Injured.com.
Hello, this is Guy Adams from the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch, letting you know that we're having our first fundraiser since 2019. We'd love for you to join us November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building, and we're going to feature Sonny Coelho and his amazing band. It's going to be a great night of dancing. Tickets are $50 per, $400 for a table. Doors open at 5:30. Let me tell you what we are. We are a ranch that works with medically fragile children here in the Central Valley. We've seen shooting victims get out of their wheelchairs, first words, first steps. We're blessed to see some amazing things, and with the help of the Central Valley, we're always blessed to be able to do this. Tickets can be bought at heartofthehorse.org. Heartofthehorse.org is where you can get your tickets. Once again, it's Friday, November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building. We're going to have some amazing silent auction items. If you'd like to donate a silent auction item, just go to heartofthehorse.org, or if you'd like to be a sponsor or make a donation, once again, heartofthehorse.org.
Fall is the perfect season to cozy up in your new dream home. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and we have a few move-in ready homes waiting for you and your family in some of our most popular neighborhoods. Enjoy the highest quality craftsmanship and luxury amenities that have come to define a Gary McDonald home without the wait.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License number 847905.
Folks, there have been some fumbles on the way to the big game, but he's not getting some help to get it done tonight. Here's the throw. He might go all the way. Touchdown!
Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help that bedroom touchdown. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Rolling up on 540 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Glad you guys are here. We'll talk about the absence in the room here in a couple of minutes. If you missed Friday's show and don't know what's going on. Of course, Skip Echeverria's last day was Friday. A happy departure for her and a big loss for KMJ and certainly for this program. Right now, though, we're talking about America's Frontline Doctors and Dr. Simone Gold, one of the founders of the group, and up until February of this year, a member of the board of directors. But following the January 6th riot, Dr. Gold was arrested. She caught a disorderly conduct charge along with other criminal charges. And as her legal case was bearing down, Dr. Gold resigned her position on the America's Frontline Doctors Board. A guy named Joey Gilbert, who used to be a professional boxer, now he's an attorney in Nevada, was voted into her seat on that board. Dr. Gold tried to negotiate a position as a fundraising consultant. She wanted $1.5 million as a signing bonus plus a $600,000 annual salary. Ultimately, she was kept on as a consultant, although at this point it's not clear what kind of financial deal was reached. Michael Thatcher's the CEO of Charity Navigator, and his response to the Daily Beast that Gold's proposed payment, which again, it's not confirmed that that's what she got, but the proposed payment would be unusually lucrative considering the amount of money controlled by America's Frontline Doctors. Thatcher said it sounds like a high amount, particularly for a consultant. But as soon as she resigned, she began attempting to control the organization from the outside. Her replacement as the executive director resigned after just a month. And the operations director for America's Frontline Doctors, Christine Lutzow, said that the reason for that resignation was that the woman was visibly shaken due to receiving hateful emails from Dr. Gold. According to the ops director, Lutzow, Dr. Gold also tried to give a substantial raise to her boyfriend, proposing that ops director Lutzow cut another doctor's annual pay in half and that $72,000 be given to her boyfriend as an addition to his salary. The boyfriend, of course, is also not commenting because of the ongoing lawsuit. Ops director Lutzow resigned herself, saying that she quit because she believed that there was criminal activity happening financially within America's Frontline Doctors. Now, Gold was eventually sentenced to 60 days of incarceration. She emerged from federal prison back in September, and she got right back out on the road. She's been doing hits with conservative media. She's been on the speaking circuit. Michael Flynn calls her absolutely brilliant. But while she was gone, America's Frontline Doctors, the board of directors, launched that internal audit of her spending. They say that Dr. Gold benefited substantially from her position. They claim that she used funds from America's Frontline Doctors to purchase a $3.6 million, 3,300 square foot mansion in Naples, Florida. They say that Gold did not have permission to make the purchase, although a third party provided meeting minutes that purport to show a recommendation to buy the house not as a headquarters, but as an investment. Those minutes don't list the house in Naples. They don't give a specific price. And on corporate papers, the company that owns this house in Naples lists its address as Gilbert's Nevada office, which Dr. Gold supporters claim is proof that the other board members knew about the mansion purchase. The CEO of Charity Navigator checks in again here saying, it's unusual for a nonprofit that isn't involved in housing to buy a house as an investment. Quote, nonprofits are traditionally quite conservative. It's more about preserving capital. It's not about trying to make a killing because the market is hot. The audit looks at other expenses, including 3 vehicles that were purchased in Florida, $50,000 a month written off as personal expenses for Dr. Gold, including $5,600 a month on house cleaning. Can you make $5,600 a month cleaning a 3,300 square foot house? I've had a housekeeper once or twice. I mean, I'm not quite at the point where I can afford to have somebody come in all the time, but certainly when Mrs. Teresi was working and in school full time and I was pulling double duty, we did cough up for that expense, but it was a few $100 a month for a couple of visits a month. I mean, $5,600 a month is curious to know what kind of cleaners they're using. And again, the board points to Dr. Gold's use of private jets. They claim that she spent as much as $100,000 on a single trip and that she did not have authorization for that expense. And they allege that Dr. Gold is diverting resources for a business of her own. She's got a medical private membership association, which kind of allows folks to work more directly with a doctor without the same level of scrutiny that you would get with certain insurance entities being involved. And the allegations keep coming. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Gold continues to deflect and accuse other board members of other financial malfeasances. And you're seeing folks kind of bailing out on America's Frontline Doctors. Some board members have refused to resign. They're going to see this audit through. They're going to weather this lawsuit. Others have packed the bags and left town. And the accountant says that at this point, they've got $7.3 million in the bank, but it's not clear who has access to that money. I'll go back to what I said before. I'm not a doctor. I do not have, beyond just a basic CPR and first aid certification, I don't have any medical training. I didn't go to school for it. So as to the medical responsibility of some of the positions staked out by America's Frontline Doctors, I'm simply not educated enough to sit there and argue with somebody who's got their MD. I will say that based on things that I have taken into and internalized, having talked to other doctors and having done a tremendous amount of reading during the pandemic, some of their positions did not jibe with my own perspective. But this is insane. And it makes me worry for the people who are looking to this organization for some kind of guidance, some kind of instruction on policy to take. Because the question then becomes, did you have doctors acting in the best interests of their patients, and not unreasonably the money followed? Or did you have a money-making endeavor that was always about the money and was always about the elevated profile that had little or nothing to do with patient health and with good public policy? So the lawsuits have been filed. They will undoubtedly get coverage as we go forward, because it's just too weird and too nuts of a scandal. When you start mixing in the commentary about Gold's boyfriend's like 20 years her junior and was an underwear model and all of that, and it gets strange quick. It makes me wonder if this group isn't just going to implode and undermine itself, not because of any medical argument, but simply because of immorality and disorganization and people going nuts when the almighty dollar gets involved. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Philip Teresi hanging out. And when we get back, for those of you that were not with us Friday, I want to make sure that we cover all of our bases, because we've taken a lot of calls. We've gotten a lot of messages. Folks concerned about my partner, Skip Echeverria. Want to make sure you guys know exactly what's going on, but it is all good, and we'll tell you about it when we get back on KMJ.
In Fresno, East Manning at South Temperance, we have an injury accident being reported. There are still some emergency vehicles on the way there. Northbound 99, just south of the 41, disabled vehicle causing a hazard in the roadway. Then we go to Chowchilla, southbound 99 at Robertson, hazard being reported there. Los Banos Pioneer Road at State Route 165. They just about have that non-injury accident all cleared for the evening. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Catch Fox News star Steve Hilton on The Ray Appleton Show every Tuesday exclusively on KMJ and streaming at KMJNow.com.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Hey, how'd you like to get paid to work out? Yes, I said get paid to work out. Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification. If you're interested in a money-making career in fitness as a personal trainer, now is your time, because ISSA is guaranteeing you will get a job. That's right, there's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. So once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you will get a job. Just text FORM to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online. Live your life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want, full-time, at a gym, at home, or as a side hustle. Whatever works for you. Don't wait another day to start your career in fitness. Get certified and start making money fast, guaranteed. Just text FORM to 323232 right now to get started with your ISSA certification for free. Text the word FORM to 323232.
Throughout your journey, you have taken care of yourself and don't expect to stop now. Stay on top of your healthcare needs and let Sante Physicians be your guide. If you're eligible, open enrollment is now available and only takes a few moments to sign up. Sante Physicians is here for your Medicare needs with more resources and locations than any other network in the Valley. Your doctor is here to provide you with the highest quality care, and you can act now by calling 559-234-1393. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Hi folks, Roger Evans here with a few thoughts about Jack Hanna. More than our spokesman, Jack was a Christian. Enthusiastic, kind, quick to help or advise, and he filled a void when we lost Dale. When he said he was riding for the Evans brand, he meant it. So we will strive to honor his legacy and keep running Evans Feed the same way that made Jack proud to represent us. Big boots to fill. Pretty sure he and Dale are singing the jingle together right now. This is Roger Evans for all of us at Evans Feed in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Our electric bills are pretty high.
I'm concerned about the condition of our infrastructure.
Recently in California with the fires, they said that they're going to shut off the power and it could be shut off for longer periods than usual.
I looked at our electric bills and they keep going up and up and up.
We had to find a solution to our energy bill.
Your home is an ecosystem. Solar power, battery storage, and efficient air conditioning all work together to ensure your house is comfortable, protected, and self-sustaining. Save today and prepare for tomorrow with Semper 360, the all-in-one home energy solution.
The savings are better than what I expected.
I said, I want the A-Team. This was the A-Team.
From the beginning to the end, they have been the best.
Declare your energy independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar, battery, and air contractor. Take advantage of the 30% federal solar tax credit. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit SemperSolaris.com. Expires November 30th, 2022. CSLB 978-152.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi, and for those of you that were not here on Friday, first of all, what are you doing? 4 hours, 5 days a week. We're always here. And to the folks who have called, emailed, and messaged, thank you very much for your concern for my friend and my former radio partner, Skip Echeverria. Last week, about this time, we learned that Skip has quit, and all, for nothing but good reasons. All is well. She just made a decision, because you guys know this if you've been listening. She has a practice as a LMFT counselor, and she is a professor at California State University, Fresno. In addition to that, she's got a couple of kids who are growing up really quick, a couple of bonus kids that are growing up really quick, and she wants to have at least a little bit of time with her family. So when she sat down and she examined where her heart was, where she felt she could do the most good, she found that it was in the other 2/3 of her professional endeavors. And so we've known for a couple of weeks that was coming. And if you missed that show, you can get the podcast at kmjnow.com. It's the last half hour of the Friday show. And a couple of folks checking in, some really kind words from Skip. And again, I cannot overstate my appreciation for the nearly 3 years that I had working with that brilliant human being. But she had an opportunity to go do something else, and she took it. And while I am personally sorry to see her go, I'm very, very proud of her for choosing herself first and foremost. So if you missed it, grab the podcast. And if you were here, thank you. Before we go, last thing on the agenda, the Christmas Story house. It's a real house. It's a property on Rowley Avenue there in Cleveland, and it is now for sale. If you didn't know, the Christmas Story house was purchased back in 2004, I believe, fully renovated to match the interiors as you saw them in the movie, and opened for both tours and overnight stays in 2006. Since then, a couple other properties have been picked up, including the Neighbor's Place, which is now also available as a Airbnb type destination, and a gift shop across the street with every possible prop that you can think of from the movie. And the folks who bought it, who restored it to its former glory, and who have been operating it, have decided that they too are going to go pursue other interests. And so it is now up for sale. I've got the link up for you on Facebook and Twitter at Drive KMJ. If you're interested in, one, just seeing what they're doing, please go check it out. They've got a live cam so you can see the exterior of the house. It's really cool. It's just really neat. If you're a fan of A Christmas Story, if you're excited about the sequel that's coming out this winter, go check it out. And if you're a rich person who always wanted to run kind of an interesting kitschy tourist trap, an opportunity awaits. I got to get out of here. The great one, Mark Levin, rolls up after an update of headlines from the ABC newsroom. Before that, we're going to hear from our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Thanks again to Clint Olivier, Clovis Unified School District Board Member-elect. James Coos is the Fresno County Registrar of Voters, County Clerk, and Andy Field, ABC News, all joined us on the show today. If you missed any of that, get the podcast at kmjnow.com.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
The Valley's Legends and Legacies